Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All In Channel, host Sega Forever here. Doing the All In Chat podcast. Decided to do an All In Chat because if some of you guys want to jump in, if you guys are like us and are Sega fans, right, and we're going to take a stroll down memory lane today. Talk a little bit about Sega's past, kind of celebrate their present because they've been killing it, especially in 2024. They had a really good year, and we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about their future, man. And you guys can share in the chat. We'll talk about it. And then from our personal experiences, me, SEGAMAN, and then hopefully Hebot, the world's most powerful gamer, will join us in a few minutes. And then we'll discuss everything Sega, man. That's what this podcast is about. I know I'm a pro Xbox channel, but as you guys know, my gamer tag is Sega Forever. And that's the reason why. It's because I'm a hardcore Sega fan. Always have been, always will be. That's never going to change. I've been this way from the jump. Back in the early days when nobody knew who Sega was, to when they hit the scene running with the Sega Genesis, especially in the U.S., and Sonic as their mascot, all the way into the iterations of what they had from the Genesis moving forward, how they changed the industry, how they innovated the industry, and of course to the final console with the Dreamcast, which I still hold as one of the best consoles of all time, with one of the best launch lineups ever in the history of any console lineup. And then to all the things they went to when they went third party. That's something that I hope Xbox looks at moving forward, and their trials and tribulations up until now, man. It took them over a decade to get to where they are now. And I'll be honest with you, it's not the same. They're not the same Sega that I grew up with. They're definitely a different Sega, going in different directions. But I appreciate the hustle. I appreciate them going back to their roots on a lot of this stuff. I appreciate their innovation that they're starting to do once again, and I'm looking forward. Enjoy 2024. Looking forward to 2025 and beyond. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And if you guys join us, Pepe Le Pew, thanks for being here, brother. It's going to be an all Sega podcast. And as you can tell, my brother's Hebot, huge Sega fan. Myself, Sega Forever. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Sega Man. Shout yourself out, brother.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming and joining us, man, for this special episode with Brother Sega Forever. What's up, Unlimited Productions in the building? And
Hey, Unlimited, what's up?
What's up, brother? We're going to have a little special podcast with my brother Sega Forever, me, the most powerful gamer, Hebot, talking, yes, about Sega, one of my nearest and dearest. Well, actually, it's my heart. Sega's my heart. You know, my favorite all-time console of all time, OG, is the Sega Genesis. There's a lot of consoles I own of Sega, but my near and dearest one to my heart is the Sega Genesis, man. I love the Sega Genesis. When I was a kid, you know, that was my childhood, my Genesis. I stayed on for hours and hours just playing really awesome shoot 'em up games, Streets of Rage. You know, a big part of my life was Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
And that made me a collector, actually, brother. We'll talk about it and get into it more, but Unlimited, you know that, and welcome everybody. That made me a big collector of Sega was the Genesis. That's when I started collecting Saturn, Dreamcast, Master System, the handhelds, everything, man. It's still going today. I haven't bought anything in a long time, but what I have, I think I'm pretty good for now. People have seen my collections, and I think I'm good right now because collecting right now for old school systems is very, very expensive now.
Yeah, 100%, brother.
You know?
Yeah.
You better have some money if you're going to collect today, unless you get lucky and you find some, I don't know, in the shithole thrift store or flea market, and you might get lucky, you know, but it's hard. It's hard, but I'm glad to be here with you, brother, and I can't wait to talk about Sega, what's coming up. I'm excited for what's coming up, everything, man. And you hear you and Hebot's opinions in the chat on it. It's going to be awesome, man. And Sega's been doing very well. I'm proud of them. I think they've been doing good. I support their IP. You're talking to a brother that supports their IP. I bought the Yakuzas. I bought the House of the Dead's. New one's coming up. I'm going to buy that too. You know? Yeah, it's nice, man. It's going to be great. You got to support these developers, man.
You know? 100%, man. You guys got to put up. You know,
yeah.
I mean, this is more. You know, it's a business, but it's also a hobby.
Oh yeah.
You got to support these guys. So Unlimited said, "Did Microsoft pick up Sega?" I wish that was the podcast that we're doing.
Oh, that would be nice.
I didn't see anything on the news, Unlimited. I had to scour some news this morning. So nothing like that. That's not why we're doing
That
the
would be
podcast.
nice, Brother Unlimited, if they did that. And you know what, Brother Sega Forever, I know we'll get into it. Brother, it's not impossible. They still could possibly do that.
Well, I'm going to share a video about something that I picked up on. And so, it's something that we talk about on the channel, like who's funding them.
Oh, okay.
And my assumption would be Microsoft, but I could be wrong. And I'll share a video showing something about that a little later on in the program. But yes, Unlimited. I wish that was the case. I wish that's why we were doing this right now. If it was, dude, it would be huge. It'd be big. It's something that I've wanted to happen for the longest time. Right? But again, it's not just the fanboy in me, dude. It is part of it's a fanboy, but I mean, look, if we're looking at it like from a business perspective, dude, I think it would behoove both of Microsoft and Sega to make that step, to take that step. So
yeah.
But we're gonna kick it off really quick, guys. I want to share this video because I think it's actually pretty awesome. I saw this dude and I was like, you know what? This is what kind of spurred me to do this podcast, right? Because it takes me back to the good old days, in a sense.
Yeah, let's check it out, brother.
Hey, Daniel, what's up, Daniel? Thanks for being here, brother. And then, how's it going? It's going great, dude. We're going to talk about Sega today, man.
Welcome, Daniel.
Yeah.
What's
and again,
people?
Nice to be here. And again, if Microsoft and Sega take that step together, dude, I mean, I'm definitely going to be Xbox for life and Sega forever. That's. I might even change back to the channel to that. Because we are going to focus on Sega specifically in this podcast. So, but Daniel, thanks for being here. So let me set this up a little bit. I want to kind of blow this up. I want everybody to see this. Can you see it, bro?
Yeah.
Okay. Set the volume. Shadow. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, unicorn overlook for Super Monkey Ball. I love that.
I haven't seen that game in a long time.
Oh, Puyo Pop. Puyo Pop.
Super Monkey Ball too.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know they do games like this.
Yeah.
The RTS games. My boy, man. Nice, dude.
Nice, very nice.
That is an awesome sizzle reel. And for me, a great way to kind of kick off the podcast because that's what it's all about. They released that a couple weeks ago, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago. And, it's deservedly so, dude. That's basically the sizzle reel they released to kind of celebrate their 224, 2024.
Yeah.
And also to kind of show you guys, man, like, again, they're not stopping in 2025. They expect big things as well. And so hopefully, with everything changing, hopefully the economy gets better. I know I harp on that a lot on the channel, but it does matter, right? People need to support these gaming companies and support the games. And that's something that I think that's been suffering in the last couple of years, right? Because people don't have that disposable income, right? And I think the timing is right, especially for Sega right now, because they're hitting on all cylinders. As you can see from that sizzle reel, a lot of the different games that they do, man, a lot of people just still think of Sega as Sonic. And that's fine. I'm a huge Sega fan as well. And, I'll do my my best impression of Other Zinc. I caught myself in a lie. Like I didn't watch Sonic 1 and 2, the movie. And I ended up watching it with my daughter. She's been wanting to watch it for a while, man. I've been kind of scared to watch it, man. That's how close to my heart Sonic is. And so I watched it. Absolutely love both movies. Hated myself for not watching it earlier, and it made me fall in love with Sonic all over again. You know what I'm saying? So, but Grace is a real great way to start off the show. Sega man, what did you think?
About the real?
Yeah, about the real, about Sega's 2024, Sega's future.
I think we've come a long way, brother Sega Forever in the chat. I mean,
Right.
back in the day, Sega had some really intense commercials, and different things that they did were pretty awesome. Like, you can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
Yeah.
Way back when they had some great stuff. Remember where they dropped the Nintendo off the building or something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, they were very hardcore. And there was a point in time where I didn't know where they were going. I mean, when they came out with the 32X, a lot of people made like, what are they doing? The Saturn's getting ready to come out. This is not really great. A lot of people did not dig the 32X. Couldn't afford it back then. I didn't require one until later, and I still have a 32X in the games. But they were they were always ahead of their time. Remember how everybody didn't understand what Microsoft was doing? Sega is the same way. Sega was always ahead of their time when it came to innovating games, systems, whatever. They were trying to get, just be ahead of the times. People are like, what are they doing with this? Or, what's going on with this 32X? Or what are they trying to do with these digitized FMV, these games and different things like that. But they could have, I think the right decision to make at the end with Dreamcast, we'll get into it more. I think they're doing much better of how they are today. I really do. One thing that they can work on, brother Sega Forever, they have so many golden IP that they're sitting on that really needs to come back out. Like, for instance, they need to make a brand new, straight from brick and mortar, like Eternal Champions. Great games like that. These guys today, these kids, if they were to see Eternal Champions back then and then play what one would look like today, would be awesome. If Sega could just create more characters, bring back the OG characters, make it in a new state-of-the-art setting, like either a new 2D one that looks really awesome, like the old school, like paying homage to it. They just have so many good IP, Sega Forever, that they're sitting on that they could be making so much more dollars with. Like, for instance, like I said, Eternal Champions, different games like that, man. They have great IP. And if they could just bring that back, like bring back the one game from Sega Dreamcast, Zombies Revenge 2. Zombies Revenge, a new Zombies Revenge, a new Die Hard, games like that, brother, that they had that were on there that were great games. You know what I mean? It would just be phenomenal if they would do Choplift. There was the one they had, Thunder. It's Choplifter. It's one of those that they had on there.
Oh, did they do Choplifter? I didn't.
Was it Choplifter? Or what was the other one called? Where you were in a helicopter? It was their game Thunder something. Thunder.
Yeah, Thunder. Yeah, hold on.
I forgot the name of it, but it was a popular helicopter game back in the day. Look, they're working on these new Golden Axes, these new Streets of Rage. They should have been done this. They should have been done this, man, because it was great. Try to bring back the Thunder Force series. They were really born and did better on the Sega Genesis than any other console. Just try to bring back like these old IP that were great. They just had so many, brother Sega Forever. And I think these games will be bought today. I think like people like Unlimited, me, you, E-Ra, he bought all of us that love Sega would support all those IPs. I guarantee you Unlimited would buy all those IPs. Yeah, bring back a brand new Altered Beast. What are they doing, Sega Forever? Bring back a brand new Altered Beast, like a good 2D side-scrolling Altered Beast with fantastic graphics of today, with the boss fights and everything, with We need a really good made Altered Beast. I think people would love Altered Beast right now. You know what I mean? That game was ahead of its time. That was an awesome game, bro. If you play that in the arcades like I did and you did, you know, with him morphing in all those like the dragon, the tiger, the bear, all that different stuff, man. That was great stuff, man. It'd be nice, brother Sega Forever, if they could just bring back these IP. You know, I think they're doing very well right now for themselves. Maybe they will someday. Bring back a new Daytona, the car game, Daytona USA. Bring back a brand new Daytona racing game. Make it like a Forza. You know, make like some kind of Daytona game like a Forza or Sega GT. Bring back Sega GT. Make it kind of like a Forza like type game. You know, really, really good, man, like a Forza, you know, brother. That would be awesome, you know, to have, man.
No, I 100% agree. They have so many IPs that they could pull from. Like for me personally, Vector Man has always been my
Yeah,
favorite.
Vector Man. Oh man, another game called Kid Chameleon.
Kid Chameleon, yeah.
Yeah, different games like that, man. What's that one called? Decap Attack. You know,
Hmm.
it's great old. Some people don't even remember that, man. Some people don't even remember that Decap Attack, and the one called Last Blade.
I know that they've revisited some of their older franchises. I remember redoing Toe Jam and Earl. Some of
Yeah,
the stuff that they do. I think moving forward, I like what they're doing. They're actually looking at things a lot more clearly.
yeah,
From a business perspective, as you have to, but also from a creative side. You know,
yeah,
Microsoft does this as well. It's one of the things, or Xbox does this as well. It's one thing I like about what they do.
yeah,
Like Phil and Matt has talked about this. It's not just about making the game; it's
yeah,
about making, like, putting the teams, the right people together with the right product, and building something off of that. And I think that's what I see a lot in Sega, especially now, right? Like, we'll look at this article really quickly because I do want to see. Um, this is actually one of the few great articles that you'll find in the gaming media. So
yeah,
kudos to them for that. Uh, it's pretty unbiased, man. A lot of times when people do this kind of stuff, they stick their personal opinion, which is what technically we're doing here. But you know, when you're in the news media, we expect a higher standard. Let's be
yeah,
honest. Hopefully, they improve for 2025. I doubt it, but well, you know, we can keep our fingers crossed. Um, but basically, they're looking at the 2020 Sega's currently known 2025 releases, right? And if you look at the one that says right here, schedule, right? This is some of the games they got coming up. Football Manager, uh, Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Sonic Racing is a pretty popular franchise. Virtual Fighter 5 Revo, and we'll talk about Virtual Fighters specifically on this video in this podcast.
yeah,
Sonic Rumble Global, not sure what that is.
yeah,
2 Point Museum, Like a Dragon, Pirate, Yakuza in Hawaii. Now they've been pushing. So this is of the like a Dragon. For those of you guys that don't know anything about Yakuza, Yakuza is the series. Like a Dragon is kind of a spin-off series.
yeah,
And so I've been enjoying a lot of the Like a Dragon. I have the last two games. Looking forward to this one. Um, and so that releases this year in 2025. Um, but as you can see, man, I mean, look, let's be honest, dude. A lot of the stuff that Sega does now is that they're not the Sega of old, and I'm fine with that, right? You know, they've changed over the years. A lot of the stuff, and we'll go into the history. We'll kind of probably wait for Hebot to jump on board when we go into that.
Hey, brother,
Mhm.
you remember another great game that needs to be either remade or part two would be, remember the game Alien Storm?
Yeah,
There were so many great games, brother, that they were sitting on, man, that it would be so nice to just see them come back with some of these great games, man. I mean, you know, uh, in today's standards, I think they would do very well. I think even if they remade or remastered some of these great games, I believe it would bring more money to them to even make, like, let's say, a second one of like Alien Storm, you know, or something like that. What's the other one called? Alien Syndrome. Remember that one?
yeah.
It was on the Master System. Different games like that. You know what I mean? They need to bring back, man. You know, that would be so cool if they did something like that, man. It'd be really
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, 100? 100 says, "What's up, great people?"
What's up, Leonard?
He says some games don't need to be remastered or remade because they are already great. Um,
Oh, I don't know about that, brother. If it's Sega games, I don't know. I think some could be remade. Well, maybe not remade, but maybe just put them on the consoles of today. You know what I mean? And
Well, we before the podcast kicked off, me and SEGAMAN were talking about House of the Dead 2, right?
yeah,
SEGAMAN?
yeah, that's going to be coming out.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the IPs, I think, especially with Sega right now, Sega needs to start creating content. They want to do their own streaming service. That's the rumor. And if they're gonna go that far, they're gonna have to find content to put out there.
Yeah.
If you look at what Xbox does with Game Pass, right? You're gonna have to overload the content, and so they might not have a choice but to go back into their catalog of games. And I think that's what they want to do. Right? They have a lot. They have a big catalog already. Right? Far better than what EA has and Ubisoft, in my opinion, right? Because they could harness some of their older stuff. But the same thing is, man, you're gonna have to capture the people. You're gonna have to bring new people into it, and that's the funny thing, Sega, man. You can comment on this as well.
What's
But for
that?
me, it's always been like a bridge too far, right? But I have to change my own idea and the way that I like certain things when it came to Sega, right? Because the Sega, like I said, the Sega now is not the Sega from what I grew up.
No.
It's a far cry from it,
Oh yeah.
right? And so, I'll be honest, man. I mean, I've always supported Sega. When they came out with games and stuff like that, we'd get them. But I mean, my heart wasn't at that level that it was for the past. But what they kind of did was they kind of brought me up. They kind of brought me on board over the last 3 years because of the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah.
They're not doing the stuff that I would expect them to do or that maybe I wanted them to do.
Yeah.
But they've done stuff that that I'm like, oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. Let me check it out, right? Because it is, a lot of the guys that I used to follow back in the day. In fact, I'll bring a video up with one of my all-time favorite, probably my favorite developer of all time, Yu Suzuki, and I'll show you.
Yes. Yu Suzuki was very innovative.
Yeah.
Very, very innovative with Shamu. Right? Shamu.
Yeah. 800, yeah. I'm waiting for Hebot to come in. We're just gonna keep it Sega focused on this one. Because I want Hebot to actually talk about the history a lot more too.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, you know what? That's another one that you remember that guy came on drunk. Shamu 3. Like we never got to see Shamu, on the Xbox, right? There's not the 3 was an honor, but we got that one that they redid, and I actually bought that. I bought that and supported that.
Yeah, a lot of politicking with that as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it was the wrong decision for him to do that. But
oh yeah.
I don't know all the inner workings, of course. We're speculating, but
apparently it did terrible, didn't it?
Well, I mean, again, this is what ticks me off a lot about these people, right? A lot of people say things, but they don't follow through.
Yeah.
You tell me you're gonna buy it day one. I think nobody supported it, which makes sense, right? Because nobody really supported Shenmue 1 and 2.
Nope.
Except us hardcore Sega fans.
Yes. Yep. We have it.
Yeah.
I beat it on the was it on the OG Xbox? I have it on the OG Xbox.
You guys remember Shenmue was supposed to be 19 games technically.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And we all see how that happened. Right?
Nothing came to fruition.
No. And again, going back to what we said a little bit earlier, you guys have to support the industry. I know times are tough right now, but that's still the reality of it. You want to see games, you have to support the developers and the publishers. Yep. Not blindly, but I'm just saying, you make something you like, go buy it. And if you can afford it, buy it day one to support these guys.
Yeah.
Big Ed said, I would like Sega to bring back Skies of Arcadia.
Well, was big on it was on the Dreamcast, right?
Yeah, that's where I played it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they own Skies of Arcadia?
I'm not sure if they own it. I'm not sure about that.
Let me ask.
They might.
Yeah, I think Skies of Arcadia is in that same situation like Power Stone. It was on the Dreamcast. It was known on the Dreamcast, but I'm pretty sure they don't own it because Skies of Arcadia went to other platforms as well.
Okay, all right.
Could be wrong. But Big Ed, dude, I agree with you. I would love to see a remake of. I would love to see an updated version of Skies of Arcadia. And the only reason I say that, guys, because look, dude, I love the older games as much as anybody else, but they're dated and it shows. Um, and so what you saw, what Square Enix has been doing with their games, right? Like the HD remake of Dragon Quest,
Yeah.
that's on Xbox right now for sale. Do something like that. Like, don't take away from the game, right? But definitely you have to upgrade it. Especially a game like Skies of Arcadia, dude. It was such an original for its time, and one of my favorite RPGs.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah.
I mean, there was I wouldn't say I think I kind of can understand a little bit what Hundred's saying, but what I'm saying is I want new IP from old IP that we grew up with that never got a second or a part two or part three. Like for instance, Altered Beast. You know what I mean? Alien Storm. You know, games like that. You know, I would like to see some of those old school. What's that one old school? Uh, Sega Forever, that old school Golden Axe game. It never came out on systems. It came out just in the arcade. Was it Death Ador or something like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It never came out on systems. It did really good in the arcade. It was some kind of fighting game. Hebot would know which one. I think it's called Death of Ador or something like that. It never came out on any kind of a system. It just stayed on the in the arcades. It was really, really, really good. Now it would be good to see that come out on systems, you know, but it never did.
Man, I'm trying to think. You know, they had so many great games in the
Death
arcade.
Ador?
That's kind of what they made their bread and butter
I
was
think
in
it's
the
called
arcade.
Death Ador, something like that.
Let me see this. Is that Golden Axe?
Yeah, it was called Death of Ador or something like that.
Is that the one with the girl?
I think. Yeah, all of them are in it. All of them are in it, but it's like it's an arcadey type. It was an arcadey type Golden Axe, and it never came out on console. It just stayed on the in the arcade. They never released it on console. I think you could play it like emulation.
Death
That's
Adder.
Big Ed said it. Big Ed got it. Golden Axe, Revenge of Death Ador.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. You got it, Ed? Oh, sorry. Yes, Revenge of Death Adder. Yeah, dude, it looks pretty cool. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, that's it, Big Ed. Thanks, brother. That was a great game. I never got to play it, brother Sega, forever. But I've seen footage on it, and it's phenomenal. It was a phenomenal game, and I just never understood why they never brought it to the Saturn or the Sega Dreamcast, brother. I just think it could have been ported to there, and then they never did it. I have no clue why, but I know they never did it.
I mean, definitely we can go back and look. Oh, hold on, guys. What's going on? Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. I think we could definitely go back and look at some of the decisions that Sega did or didn't do.
Now, I think you might be able to play via emulation. You know what I mean? That way, I think Hebot can play it because he has emulation on his how his son can do it through the Xbox or something. He plays all those arcade games. I think you could do it that way.
You know what, brother? If they actually do do a streaming service, maybe you might get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Let me clear this. Yeah, but again, man, they're 2024. Like, there's so many games that I picked up from Sega this year. Because again, one of the things you got to remember too, and it's something that I have to catch myself up on,
Yeah.
is how many games that they have that are made. You know, it doesn't like technically be associated with Sega, especially if you've been out of the loop for a while.
Yeah.
Right. So of course, you have Atlas, right? You have like the Total War stuff that they do. They do a lot of RTSs. And then again, like I just in that sizzle reel that we watched, I didn't know that Sega did the latest Demon Slayer. The kind of the turn the what is that? It's kind of like a board game style, right?
Oh,
Like Mario Party in a sense. I don't know if it's the exact same gameplay,
yeah,
but Demon Slayer is such a popular brand, and it looks like Sega did that. And I think Sega did actually did. I know they did the Demon Slayer video game, right? So
yeah,
this is why I'm high a lot. I'm really high on like I'm really excited for the 2024. It was big, the Persona games.
yeah,
It expanded its outreach to a lot of different people outside of the people that normally play, which was more on the PlayStation side, right? That's why a lot of PlayStation guys were upset, right? Because they feel that that's their IP, even though it's a third party. But I can't blame them. Same thing with Square Enix, dude. They're affiliated with PlayStation on that level. And again, shout out to Phil Spencer for reaching out, man, and making it happen. Because as you guys know, man, I'm predominantly an Xbox guy. I'm not gonna buy a PlayStation, so I'm not going to be able to play the games that go over there, right? But Phil did he did he did the heavy lifting. Him and Sarah got out there and built those bridges with these guys, and that's why we're getting the games coming over. And Persona, I think, has been a breath of fresh air.
yeah,
Both Sega and Xbox, and as well as or Persona, not Persona.
yeah,
And the Yakuza series. We were talking about that earlier, brother. Um, and the Yakuza series, I played one of the Yakuza series when I had a PlayStation. But
yeah,
after I got the PlayStation, dude, I didn't pick up anything from Sega that was on PlayStation, right? So I have been missing out. Um, but the Yakuza series, one of the things I've always liked about them is that they're quirky, man. To me, they breathe Japan, right? The type of games that they are.
yeah,
It's a somewhat serious, somewhat funny, and then it has all this other stuff in between.
yeah,
That it's a hodgepodge of a lot of different things going on in the game that actually works. And if you're a Japan file like I am, or grew up back in the day,
yeah.
especially with the 80s pop culture of Japan, you kind of like that stuff. At least I do. I'll speak for myself. I know I definitely do. So I think that was something that was great for both Xbox again, but more importantly for Sega, right? This is the power of Game Pass that nobody talks about, right, Sega man? Um, its ability to kind of breathe new life into franchises and to get people noticed. It's not just about making, anybody wants to make money, dude. And I'm not saying that's bad, but it's more to it than that. And that's what Sega has shown with cooperating with Microsoft, working with Xbox, and putting their stuff on Game Pass. Sorry, Ed, I missed this one. He said the graphics on Revenge of Death Adder was sick, especially for a game released in 1992. Yeah, it was very ahead of its time, and that pretty much signals everything about Sega. They're very ahead of their time, right? Very innovative. That's why I find myself being on the Xbox train, because Xbox kind of reminds me of what they do, the things that Sega used to do back in the day. Again, the only big difference is Microsoft actually has money. Sega ran into some financial troubles. Yeah, Demon Slayer. It is Sega. I thought so. Just wanted to check my facts. Dude, this is crazy. And here's another one that we have. Sega Man, I'll share it because I think it's fascinating. Sega prepares to enter subscription gaming market, tempted by Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus success. Right.
What's that, brother?
So this is the other article. Can you see it?
Oh,
Let me show you.
yeah,
See it.
yeah,
So this article is talking about how Sega plans to do their own subscription services.
yeah,
Right. Now, this kind of brings up to me like why they would do this, especially since they've had so much success on Game Pass. Like, what makes Sega think that they could do their own streaming service? I'm not against it, right? And in fact, the direction I'm heading as far as my gaming, man, like I said, when I mean, look, I bleed green, I do, but you guys have no idea how hardcore of a Sega fan I am. When Sega left the market back in the day, dude, that was devastating for me with the Dreamcast. Dreamcast was their last console. They decided to go third party, which I did not want them to do, but they did it anyway for reasons. And I know financially they were strapped. Right, some of the decisions they made with the Saturn hurt them, but for the most part, they're being forced out of the industry. And I'm pretty sure you remember that too, right, Sega man?
Say it again.
Back then, dude, I didn't want Sega to go third party.
Yeah,
Right. And this is one of the things I echo about Microsoft. Don't do it. Don't go third party. Make everybody else bend the knee to you guys. Because we've been through this before, guys. This is history repeating itself.
You heard of let me show you Sega Forever. You heard of this, right? Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
This is the Duel. See the Sega.
Oh, sorry, bro. Are you there?
Yeah.
Hello.
You see that?
Wait.
I'm here. You see it?
Yeah.
It's called the Duel. This is one that was on the Sega Saturn. I don't even think this made it to United States. I think it might have, but if it did, it was more expensive. The U.S. version, but this is the Japanese version of Golden Axe: The Duel.
Okay.
It was kind of like a Street Fighter type Golden Axe.
Oh, my bad, dude. I lost
That's
you.
all right. It's like a Street Fighter type Golden Axe that you play where you go head to head with other characters in the game. So this is a import that I got a long time ago.
Yep.
Golden Axe: The Duel. I didn't know if you heard of it, but it was pretty good for what it was. I beat it with one of the characters, but yeah, it's just this 2D like type fight, like Streets of Rage or not Streets of Rage, or like Street Fighter or games like that, like an SNK, but it's just in a Golden Axe form. But I got that, man. I got that a while back, brother. But the one the brother Big Ed was talking about is that's the exact one I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about that never came to systems. You could get it on emulation,
Right. I can try and pull it up.
Big Ed, man, you're very knowledgeable, brother. You said the Duel was released in the West. We got a very knowledgeable Sega brother here, man. Big Ed, yeah. It's a great game. It's a great game for your Sega Saturn, man. It's a really good fighting game, and I don't believe it's that expensive. The Japanese version, honestly, Sega Forever, it didn't cost me that much to get this imported. Now, the original U.S. version was expensive. It was like over $100 if you could find it. And I'm like, nah, let me try getting it from Japan. And this was a lot cheaper. They only pay like 25 or 30, something like that, and that's with shipping included. But that was like a few years ago. Maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I think, when I got that, or it could have been longer, But that's another one. Like I said, they should really think about bringing back like some of these, like Die Hard. Die Hard is Fox Interactive. You guys see Die Hard right there? That was a great game on there. It's and I got Dynamite Cop too for Sega Dreamcast. But the Die Hard was really good on the Sega Saturn. These games are expensive, dude. I looked up some of these games, Sega Forever. Some people just don't know how to price shit. Some of them have outrageous prices, like $250, man. I'm like, wow.
Well, what's the saying? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm like, man, this is nuts. How expensive some of this stuff is, man. Like, remember Last Bronx? Last Bronx, man, that was a great fighting game. You remember that?
Yeah.
Last Bronx, yeah. I think that's affordable. It's more affordable today. But Last Bronx was an awesome game. Like this, make a Last Bronx 2. And I think this, here it says it's a Sega exclusive. So this is an exclusive.
Yeah.
So why not make another Last Bronx fighting game? I believe people that love Sega and was a real component of their fighting games, that love their fighting games, that came out of their in-house, would love to see a Last Bronx 2 or updated Last Bronx fighting game for like the Xbox systems or something like that. Put them on there. That would be awesome, man. To make games like this, you know what I mean? Bring them like part 2s and different things like that, man. Well,
all right, hold on. Let me go back to this real fast. We might get that SEGAMAN.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm saying that, dude, is because if you're gonna make a streaming service like Sega wants to do, and I don't blame them for doing that. They've had a lot of success on Game Pass. One of the things that Sega guys that we know than me and SEGAMAN. I'm pretty sure Big Ed as well knows
Yeah.
what this stuff is. Sega has these ideas, and some of it ideas of grandeur when they do this stuff, right? But sometimes they misread, they misread the movement, or they miss the boat in some aspects, right? I mean, look, that's a part of any business, right? Sometimes it works out for them, but a lot of times for Sega it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'm not bemoaning this, dude. I'm at a point with gaming where I would love to go back to the classic stuff, the stuff that you're sharing.
Right.
Of course, if they have a streaming service, right, you could possibly see them. The stuff that they own should definitely see that stuff. The stuff that they kind of work with other people to make, like it becomes a licensing issue. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And we know that for a fact as Xbox guys. We know that because that's one of the problems with the backward compatibility ran into.
Yeah.
Right? And with all the trimmings of problems as far as like you're talking about what people charge, right? Well, Xbox ran into the same thing because you want to work with these companies, man, but they want to charge you an arm and a leg. Instead of being fair and being understanding, instead of using it as a vehicle to promote themselves, they want to make bank on it, and that's just not going to happen. And for me, like I'm looking forward to the streaming service. I would prefer it personally, as it pertains to. Oh, sorry guys, is it loading? As this pertains to what they're doing with Game Pass, I think that would be a better fit for them. Right? And again, you guys know I'm big on Xbox purchasing Sega. I'll throw that out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm with you on that too, man. I'm on that. I'm on board with you on that also, man.
But I'm glad you shared that, brother, because I could see if you had games like that in the service, right? But again, we have to ask the questions like, how do you think emulation is going to affect this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How about the guys on the PC side? Like what is Microsoft going to be? Now that Sega would be a competitor. Oh, who am I kidding, man? Microsoft bends over for everybody. So you know what I'm saying? I probably do nothing. Probably be like Phil. Probably be on there saying, "Oh, we're so happy to bring Sega on here to introduce their streaming service, which you can play on Game Pass, and which you can play on PlayStation." Microsoft. Look, I love Phil, but anyway, let's not go around that road. Let's keep this positive.
Well, it's like Big Ed said in here. He said, "Yeah, most Saturn games are expensive. Most Saturn games are expensive. I paid $200 for Panzer Dragon Saga."
Yeah, well, I paid full price for my Panzer Dragon Saga, and I also got it for $9.99.
Saga, the Big Ed, if you still have it, Saga's worth $2,000 now. Is that the RPG one?
Yeah, Saga's the RPG.
That's worth a lot of money right now. My brother Poseidon owns that. ADOS. Shout out to my good brother Poseidon. He actually still owns that, Big Ed. And I looked that up. That game's worth over $2,000, man. I seen it for $2,500. Now I don't know if it's went down from there, Big Ed, but that game is very expensive, man. A long time ago, Big Ed, downtown Pittsburgh, there was a little gaming store. It was inside of a law building, believe it or not. Just a really little small corner store where you go inside the building. It looked like a newspaper stand, right? But it was this guy that just had he had games like this really shoved in this little place he had. And he had that game. And back then, it was in I think I seen it in 1995 or somewhere around there. He wanted $1,500 for it, and that was back then. And he's like, I told him, Brother Sega, I said, "Oh man, I knew the dude. I think his name was Gary." I said, "Man, I can't afford that, Gary. That's a lot of money, man. $1,500."
Do you have it? Do you have it, Sega?
I don't have Panzer. I don't have Panzer Dragon Saga. I have Panzer Dragon 1 and 2. I have 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Now 2 became expensive. 2's getting up there. 2's getting up there in price. But the one he's talking about, the $200 one, that thing's worth $2,500. I've seen in some places. I've seen in some places for still like $1,700. You might have somebody that might have it at $900, $800. But I've never seen that game below that. I've never seen it for like $50, $100. It's always way up there. $900, $700, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. Swear to God, guys, that's one of the most expensive games ever made for the Sega Saturn. Man, that's expensive.
Well, if you're gonna pay that kind of money, man, because I'm pretty sure, bro, it was like 5 discs.
The RPG? Yeah, I think so.
So make sure you get all the discs.
Yeah, that was expensive, man.
Yeah.
I would never pay that, man. I mean, not that 1,500, man. That was just that's too expensive, man. Not for me, not my blood, man. I can't do it. Even if I was single without kids, I still wouldn't buy it for that. That's expensive, man.
Yeah, I'd have to hit that Powerball, brother.
Yeah.
Hit that Powerball, like that. I guess the last one was like $1 billion or something. Some dude won it. So you hit that Powerball, then if you had that kind of money, then you can actually go hardcore collector.
Sega Forever. You ever heard of this game?
Yeah.
Did this come to the United States or was this just Japan?
That I don't know, because what happened was I ended up modding my Saturn and I just started ordering stuff directly from. There was this store I would go to, and they would get all the Japanese games in, and you would just buy from them.
I never heard of this. It looks like it's from an anime.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a good fighting.
I mean, not from an anime, but it has its stuff, right?
It's a good fighting game, brother. I've never heard of it. I got it because it was a fighting game, and I wanted to get it, and I got it imported for very cheap, and it's pretty damn good. It reminds me of Last Bronx almost, or one of those games.
Well, I mean, and you got to remember at the time when they were doing that stuff, right? I mean, it was the soup du jour.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Stuff that they came up with, right?
Yeah.
But Pippin says where Sega went wrong, they made too many systems in a short time, then killed Saturn too fast when Devs was in the middle making games for it, and made much mad at Sega. Pepe, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but that's just part of the equation of what happened, right? Because trust me, man. Because back then, it's interesting that with Xbox, because of Game Pass, I'm doing this now. But back then, dude, I would follow not just Sega, but their development teams and then the third parties that would support them, right? And what was happening, man, is a lot of there's pressure put on some of these guys. Some of it, like stuff went south. Some of them relationships went bad, but other times, man, there were other outside forces. And yes, I'm talking about PlayStation, right? Right. A lot of these other companies were putting a hamstring on the developers because PlayStation was becoming the bigger console.
Yeah.
And so these guys would basically strong arm these dudes and say, hey, if you don't work for us, we might not be able to put you guys on blast, or we might not be able to work with you on that level. And so a lot of these developers, man, they made a choice to go with Sony instead of Sega. And Sega, look, they shot themselves in the foot with some of this stuff. I'm not going to say that, right? But I'm not gonna let Sony off the hook as well. But they made their mistakes, that's for sure. Hey, what's up, brother? Hebot, you there? Hebot's with us, man. He might be getting. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
He's probably getting his mic right.
Yo!
Hey, what's up, brother?
Oh my God! I come in here and I'm already hearing people saying the wrong information, getting me mad already. Right? No, Pepe, that was not what happened. What happened was, sorry. Hey guys, how are you?
What's up?
What happened was, Tom Kalinske told them and suggested to them not to bring out the Saturn so close to the release of 32X because they wanted to offer the 32X as a option to everybody that had the Genesis, so they would not feel forced to have to migrate over and get the Saturn because it was going to be a higher cost. So for anybody that wanted to play 32-bit games but didn't want to pay that price point, that's why they brought out the 32X price, the 32X first, which connected and adapted to the Sega CD and the Sega Genesis together. But then developers didn't want to make games for the 32X because the 32X was cartridge-based. As opposed to the Sega Saturn, it was going to be CD-based, which was cost-efficient because that's why they moved from cartridge to CD to begin with, because it was going to be cheaper to print and produce games on CD. Now, the reason why they made the Sega CD before that was because they wanted to see if it would work, and if you were able to put games on CD with the same quality as a cartridge, and how hard would it be? Because now you're dealing with loading times, and if that was all new. That was in an infancy at that point, and nobody had tackled it, the way that Sega did, other than the TurboGrafx, which was NEC at the time, and even their system was only really an 8-bit machine with 2 8-bit chipset, so they called it a 16-bit, but it was really an 8-bit machine. That's why it wasn't as good as the Genesis, even though they came out side by side simultaneously. And I mean by good is as far as graphic goes, fidelity, and what it was capable of doing, right? With the tech. The Genesis hardware was much more superior, right? Even though the TurboGrafx was a very damn good machine. Now, when Tom Kalinske told him that, because I have all those receipts too, it'd take it forever to put them up on the screen, where he said the reasoning for it is because they didn't want to feel like they were forcing the Genesis, community, the people who bought Genesis, like they had to go out and buy a brand new $400 machine in the Saturn, especially because the Genesis was still selling at the time where they were about to shift over to 32-bit. And that was the whole idea behind it. But then Sega of Japan, because Sega of America was basically destroying them as far as success goes, their ego got so big, and because they were upset, even though they're still under the same company and the same bracket, they sabotaged them, because then they forced Kalinske, right, to fucking release the Saturn because right away, because they wanted to beat Sony to the point. And instead of waiting to get a better price point, they didn't do that. And what they committed with suicide. They sabotaged the American Sega of America, committing suicide by announcing it on E3 on May the 27th or the 25th, without giving none of the retailers in America, like Child World, Two Guys, Toys R Us, the time to make shelf space for the Saturn on their shelf. That's why you always get 6 to 8 months to a year of advancement, knowing when you're getting a product so that they can make shelf space and prepare, promote it, and so people know it's coming. That's called marketing. And they didn't do that because the Saturn had been out already for 2 years almost in Japan before it even touched America, right? So once it came out, it was out of surprise because they wanted to be Sony to the punch, because they couldn't afford to bring the console down to 300 like Sony, because Sony didn't even pay for the fucking actual hardware R&D for PlayStation. It was Nintendo. Nintendo paid everything out of their pocket, and even the name, they didn't even patent the name. And Sony just said, okay, since they didn't patent it, we have to engineer schematics, because it was one of the, I think it was Hidegaki. Well, not Hidegaki. It was what's his name? Ken Kugaragi, I think it was working with them behind closed doors, with Nintendo, to create and engineer the CD, because Nintendo wanted to compete with Sega with the Sega Saturn, and they were trying to do a CD attachment to the Super Nintendo instead of making a whole brand new console. Sega was just trying to do a whole brand new console, and that wasn't working out. They weren't happy with it, so he took that platform and took that information, even though he got demoted to the music department, and then presented it to the head of Sony at the time, convinced him, let's just do it ourselves, because all they did was publish games at the time, like their games that were related with Sony Pictures, like Hulk, Jaguar, things like that were related with Sony Pictures. That's what games that they would publish. So they, because they also want greedy, because they wanted Nintendo to pay them not only for each machine, because they created the engineering of it, but they also wanted a percentage of every disc, because they were going to use the disc format that Sony was providing. So essentially, they were going to make more money than Nintendo, even though Nintendo put up all the capital for the R&D and for the goddamn system. So Nintendo said, no, fuck you. They didn't tell them nothing behind their back. They went to talk to Philip CDI, which they created as Philip CDI at the time. And that's why they let them bring that a Mario and a Zelda game to the CDI, which that was never done before. They leased out those brands at that point. But that was the agreement that they did. And then they announced it at E3 abruptly without Sony knowing. They told them basically go suck our dick, because they were trying to screw them over as far as the percentages went with what Sony wanted to get off of Nintendo, even though Nintendo was the one that pocketed the entire money to do the console, right? Or whatever they were going to bring out. Keeping in mind that Sony at that time was still the number one fucking business in the world, company in the world with money because they had the music division, they had the electronic division, they had the movie division. Them niggas were like $900 billion strong back in the late 80s, early 90s, which was unheard of, right? Because they were that big around the whole world. So they had money, and they were just trying to screw people over by using that money to mudsling, buy people off, and fearmonger, which is exactly what they did. So when the Sega came out with the Saturn, that's why Sony was able to bring it out according to schedule, you know, at a timely manner for the holidays, especially, which was in September, right? And they say, oh, $299, when that fucking, what is his dumbass name, said that fucking presentation, they did that on purpose because they knew Sega couldn't bring down the price of the Saturn. So once they did that, and then they started talking to all these companies like Crystal Dynamics, and they were doing Tomb Raider and Resident Evil Saturn, they're like, no, we'll pay you for exclusivity, put it on PlayStation first, plus our machine is easier to develop for, and, you know, we'll give you this amount. They offered them a bigger fucking percentage because they could afford to, because they had money. So Crystal Dynamics, what did they do? They made the exclusivity, and they had all these something. I had over 250 companies doing games for them. And then all these fucking developers that were making games for Saturn got scared, went there, because they saw that they were having success with sales, pre-sales, pre-orders. The numbers were high compared to Saturn, because Saturn just came out. They didn't have, nobody had a chance to pre-order it. It was just a surprise release. Boom, here it is. Because that was the way Sega thought they can beat Sony to the punch. But I feel it was more of a sabotage with Sega of America, because they were doing better than they were and pretty much embarrassing them in Sega of Japan. So that's what actually happened. It wasn't because they were stupid and overkill. No. It was all not being on the same page, and because Sony was fucking mudslinging everybody behind closed doors and forced them to do something that they desperately did that they didn't need to do if they didn't feel the threat. But the threat was the money, was the pocket. Sony's pockets were too big. That was the threat. That was the threat. Nintendo did it right by cutting them off and just telling them to go fuck themselves, and took their time. But Sega, since they were the big dogs and the pioneers that were the most prominent and the most successful, and had, you know, the biggest people, you know, like they had the biggest audience because people believed in them, they loved their product, they loved what they did. They were like, oh no, we can't afford to lose that. We can't afford to lose that perception. We got to beat them to the punch, and force them to do something, you know, out of desperation, which was stupid. And they end up fucking up and biting them in the ass because they didn't have the money to fight in combat. They didn't have the money to basically convince the developers to continue to develop for Saturn versus the PS1. That's basically the bottom line. So again, fuck Sony. They can suck a big fat cock because it was their fucking fault. Stop blaming Sega. It was Sony's fucking fault. And Sega had no choice. They did what they felt they had to do as a desperate act. It was never Sega. It was always Sony. And it will continue to be Sony until the day I die. Fuck them guys. You guys need to educate yourself. That's not what happened. Now, back to the regularly scheduled program. What are you doing, guys? How's everything?
Oh, good. I'm just going to address the chat real quick. Let me read through these comments, then we'll get back to it. Because I do want to welcome some people. Big Ed said, yeah, most Saturn games are expensive. I paid $200 for Panzer Dragoon Saga. Look, I'm not gonna lie, Big Ed. I made a big killing on my when I sold my extra copy. I made a couple hundred back in the day.
Yeah.
Pepe says, release Dreamcast early before devs had some games ready. They did a lot. I think he means Saturn, right, Pepe? Because the
Which
Dreamcast was awesome.
He probably does.
Yeah, Saturn was the only console that they ever released that they didn't give nobody marketing time or how to prep up for the release, or no pre-orders, nothing. It just came out.
Wasn't it like $399? Was it $399 when it launched?
Yes, it was $399. Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
So, in some places it was $5, but in the US, because I bought it in the Wiz.
Yeah.
Okay, I bought it in the Wiz. My wife actually helped me buy it.
Yeah.
And it was $399, and nobody beats the Wiz here in the States.
Yeah, my friend bought it for $399, and then I bought it from him.
Really? Oh,
Just so
okay.
I covered. Well, so because I didn't have a car, I was in the Navy. So he went and bought it, and then when he bought it, though, he wanted to sell it to me so he could get the PlayStation, so he could play Wing Commander.
Sega?
So And so what happened was he sold it to me because I was like, oh, I'll buy it from you. So I paid him the money, and then he already had Virtual Fighter, and that's how I learned how to play Virtual Fighter.
Right. Virtual Fighter.
Back in the day, we didn't have internet, and a lot of the guys that knew how to play the game, I found this out later in the arcade. These guys had all the move lists, and they were sharing it with each other, but they wouldn't share it with anybody else. So I got the game, and then I started playing the game at home. And then in the thing, they would show you some stuff, and then you would just learn. I took the time to learn, and so I went back to the arcade and I beat all those guys.
Okay. Yeah, because it was really good. I hope you learned the game without having to spend those quarters.
Well, those guys, the way that was, man, because the depth of that game, right? That's why, and we'll talk about Virtual Fighter because I got some stuff to share too. But at that time, dude, that was the first 3D game, and it was between that and Tekken. So either you play Tekken or you play Virtual Fighter. You can play both, but most people would be in one side or the other. And I mean,
the whole existence of Tekken was because Virtual Fighter, because Namco wanted to compete. But Tekken's gameplay, I'm sorry, the animation, the gameplay, the actual learning curve was nowhere near on the level of Virtual Fighter. Hell no.
When they both came out, if you remember, like Sega and Namco was going head to head in the arcades.
Yeah,
so they both had the same type of games, right? Like the racing games. They both had the racing games.
Yeah, when Sega did Outrun, they fucking did Ridge Racer.
Yeah.
Right? So, when Sega did House of the Dead and Virtual Cop, they fucking did Time Crisis. They were copying they were like Sony of that time in the arcade. They would copy everything Sega would do.
Well, that's a very Japanese thing, right? And then all their arcade stuff was coming over to our arcade. So it was like the industry in general, like the VR thing. And we remember, because I was hardcore, and I was more into arcade than I was into console, right? I was constantly at arcades, right? And so what it was, dude, it was just a culture shift. It's like when Street Fighter 2 hit. When Street Fighter 2 hit, that changed everything in the arcade. Like, I know we can all talk about
this. Yeah.
There was points
Street Fighter changed the landscape as competitiveness in arcades in a heartbeat.
Well, the freshness and the newness of it, and it brought in a whole nother type of gamer, right? That was the big thing about Street Fighter 2. So, and then when that hit hard. And it actually shifted the arcade, right? Because then everybody else, like you said, he bought what, you know.
And then when Mortal Kombat came, forget it. That was even worse.
Well, Pit Fighter, I would even put Pit Fighter then.
Yeah,
before that, we had Yara Kung Fu and we had Karate Chop. Those were the two. Because I was playing fighting games for the longest.
But I'm talking about as far as the impact, right? Like Pit Fighter was doing okay, but it was the gameplay that kind of held it back, right? But when because you know the whole oh wow about Pit Fighter was that they were using pre-rendered graphics that made it look like the characters looked realistic, like real people. But it was still no 2D fight.
There was nothing at that time until Mortal Kombat came.
Right, but when Mortal Kombat came,
I held a candle to Street Fighter.
You remember?
Street Fighter 2 sucked all the air out of the room. Because when you used to go to the Street Fighter 2 was one of the first cabinets that you ended up getting like 5 to 7 cabinets.
The arcade. The arcade you went and it would be like 12 cabinets of Street Fighter and like 9 cabinets of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That's all you saw, first and foremost.
Street Fighter sucked all the air out of the room, and then Mortal Kombat came in, and when Mortal Kombat came in, that was another shit. It was crazy. And that's when that's when all the tournaments started to kick off, and you didn't win anything really. You got a T-shirt, maybe a trophy, and some bragging rights, right? Not like you guys now. You guys are making like millions of dollars.
And that's when all the console wars started in the arcades. Shit, motherfuckers beat each other. Oh, let's go outside, get into a fucking fight over a fucking who beat who. That's how it was.
Well, back in my day, dude, we used to fight over somebody stealing your quarters. So
yeah, that's another thing. Especially if you did it and put it on the marquee, which is why I called the show We Got Next, the podcast, because we would put it up there and say, I got next, we got next, whatever. And you knew that person was waiting on the turn. Especially if there was only a few machines. Like if they had only 2 machines and you were already there for a while, you got to get somebody a chance to play it and then come back. And that was the whole point of that. You know, motherfuckers never know what arcade is like.
So Big Ed said you're 100% right. Pepe says he's not disagreeing.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I bring that up, Pepe, I'm not attacking you, but I bring it up because that seems to be that's the narrative that they push all the time, and they don't.
Well, I wasn't trying to attack them either.
No.
Yeah.
And they disregard all that other stuff, right? Because it does matter, man. Because people don't, even the Sony guys, they don't realize how big Sony was back then. Like, they were the big dog in the room. So the way that people look at Microsoft, Right now,
That was
that was
Sony.
Sony back in the day.
Yep,
Right?
that
And
was
for all
Sony.
the
Yep.
people complaining about the 32X, well, you have a PS5 Pro, so y'all can kiss my ass. I'm just
Right.
right, because the history has a way of repeating itself, and Sony's done a lot of the dirty in the gaming industry. I know a lot of you guys don't want to believe that, not in the chat, but a lot of the guys out there in the gaming community.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they were
But
called the evil corporation, bro. They were.
yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to attack Pepe. It's just that I get so mad because I hear so many people saying the same dumb rhetoric, or not dumb, more like misinformation, right? And they swear that by the Bible, that's what it is. No, it's not. That's not how it happened. And there's plenty of videos and proof and documentaries now to that show it and prove it. On Netflix, on YouTube, all you gotta do is look it up. You see it. Plenty of documentaries that back up what I'm saying and show the proof. And just they be like, nah, no, it's not. You bugging. That's not how it was. You crazy. Only dominated because everybody wanted to suck them because they were the best. Like, no, motherfucker, you have no clue what you're talking about. There was nobody at that time with the kind of money in pocket Sony had that was offering developers the kind of money they were offering at that time. Again, the key word is at that time. So if Sega was paying, let's say Sega was paying Tidal, right, to have Roston exclusive on the Sega Master System, which they did. If they paid Tidal $100,000, right, Sony was probably giving them straight off the hip $1 million for Roston. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at that time, or even 800, let's say, right? When you compare $100,000 to $800,000 as far as an offer to a developer from another company to put a game on their console, of course you're gonna take it, because back then gaming was still not something that was guaranteed. It wasn't making the buku money that it makes now. Now gaming makes more money than Windows, than movies. It's the biggest and highest grossing, form of entertainment in the world now. It's beyond anything else. You know what I mean? And that's why all the people want a part of it, from streamers to actors. Now actors don't see it as something stupid. Actors used to look at gaming like it was a fucking joke. So if anybody asked them at that time, right, yo, can you do the voiceover or play a character in the game? They're like, you can't pay me. That's garbage. That's for little kids. That's a toy. So then you saw the little actors, like Freddie Prinze Jr., for example, Matthew Lillard. They would do it because they were up and coming, but they were smaller actors. They were more in the independent horror scene and stuff like that. Or somebody like Tom Servini, obviously showing my age. You guys even know who that is. And they would, or even, Trauma, the people from Trauma. They would agree, okay, let's do this. And they would get paid because they saw the art in what they were doing, what these developers were trying to do. But now you see how everybody wants a piece of the gaming pie, and now
a lot of these guys are grew up as gaming got so accepted.
Yeah.
Or normalized. Yeah, a lot of these guys are game. I'm not saying they're hardcore gamers, but they grew up gaming as well, so they think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But now they accept it as actual art, right? Because it's making money.
Yeah.
And part of the reason, or a big part of the reason, why the cost of gaming has gone up so high is not only because of technology. It's because now they have to pay these actors a good amount of money so they can be part of it. You get what I'm trying to say? Somebody like the girl that plays Senua, the actress, they don't have to pay her a lot of money because she's an actress for gaming and a voiceover for gaming. That's how she started her career. You see what I'm saying? So they're not have to pay her that much because she's not worth the value that much. But if you tell somebody like, let's say Nicole Kidman, like Zoe Zendaya, right? If you tell them come in and voiceover Senua from Hellblade, they would have had to pay her millions. You see what I'm trying to say? What the comparison to what I'm trying to bring up?
The interesting thing about Zoe Saldana is I think you could probably get her for a good price.
Oh, yeah. Let me give you an example, but she is very humble. Yeah.
Oh,
She's not like
she's a huge geek.
She's good. She's good.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's good. She got range. She's done so much stuff. But I'm just giving you as an example, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can name any good high-profile actress. The point is that they would have paid them to come in to do Hellblade. They would have to pay top dollar. You know, they would have to pay her millions.
I
Not
wonder
just
how much. I wonder how much they paid Harrison Ford just to walk up on that stage.
oh, you mean that really? He had to pay him at least, I would say, 3 mil, maybe 2 mil. I wouldn't be surprised.
Either they had to pay him a lot of money, or Disney strong armed him.
Right. One or the other. Yeah, but you see how funny he is. He thinks he's so slick. And he said something right away about Troy Baker, right, with his voiceover, right? I don't know if you saw that SEGAMAN, but he goes, oh man, if I would have known that, I would have done the voiceover myself. Say, yeah, we know, motherfucker. You got paid for your likeness, and you wanted to get paid for your voice too, separately, you bitch, you old fart. Like with all that money, and he's still worrying about fucking money, and he's like not almost 90 years old.
They made the best choice by Baker because he's too old.
Troy Baker, he did a phenomenal job. Yeah. Phenomenal. The guy is very talented. Absolutely.
Hey, what's up, Vontae? Hey, Vontae, man, I just wanted to let you know I watched episode 2 of season 2 for Solo Leveling, dude. It's awesome. It's probably one of the best anime episodes I've ever seen.
Which anime are you watching?
Solo Leveling.
Solo what?
Solo Leveling.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I'm a big anime dude too. Like you could always talk to me about anime if you want to. I'm a big anime, big one. But I'm, I grew, with what we grew up with, the real hardcore shit from back in the day.
Yeah, I know. But Vontae, I know you. I don't know if you're gonna watch it, but yeah, I definitely watched it, dude. I tried to hold off and I couldn't. But yeah, that episode 2, man, that blew me. I loved episode 1 because I think it sets a good tone. He says, I just started watching the anime and I like it. Still prefer the manhwa, but it's good. Yeah, I mean the manhwa, and it's its own style. But you gotta admit, man, the action. I don't know if you watched the first season. Get through that first season. The second season, man, the action they take it to the next level. And it promotes the story as well. So that's always good.
Have any of you gentlemen watched Dororo on either Shudder or Amazon Prime?
Which one?
Dororo.
Yeah.
Dororo. No, watch it. It's really good. Dororo is based off the Sega game called Blood Will Tell that was out only on PlayStation 2.
I don't know, bro. You watch stuff like Berserk, dude. I can't hang with Berserk, dude. That stuff is, dude.
Oh my god, Berserk is so incredible. Yeah, no, Dororo is really good. That's the one where I told you where the dad made a pact with the fiends, which would be the demons.
Yeah. That
he wanted to be the emperor, the one who run that land. So when his wife was pregnant, he made a deal where his child or his firstborn, right, that they would take 48 parts of his body away from him. So he would essentially be a disabled or mutilated child, right? But his wife didn't know he did that. And so when the baby was born, that it was born all deformed and mutilated, he disowned it. He didn't want to have the child around. And he ordered the maids that took care of the wife and him to kill him, to kill the baby, right? But the maid that was taking care of it, she couldn't do it, right? Because she knew, regardless of what, him being mutilated or being deformed, he was a child. It was a baby. So she didn't want to kill him off. So she put him in a basket and put him on a lake stream and just send him off. So see if someone would find him and take care of him. And what ended up happening is the baby was found by a blacksmith. And that blacksmith, right, he basically said, I will take care of you, my child. And he built body parts where he was missing, like his arms, his legs, out of weapons and with wood to give him limbs that he can just remove, right, in combat. And so when he got older, since he was the chosen, he went after the 48 fiends that had his body parts. So, for example, one of them had his nose. He got back his nose. One of them had his larynx, so he could talk, so he got back his voice. Every time he kills a fiend, he found body part. And Dororo is the little girl that meets up with him that she's homeless. And he takes her with him to help him and take care of her while he's fighting. And so she helps.
How old is it? How old is it?
Oh, this goes back into like the 60s. It was a black and white first, original.
Okay.
The black and white animation. Then they did another one, and then they did the game, the manga, and now they made a new one again called Dororo. It's fantastic, fantastic. But again, a lot of people don't know that it's based off that game that Sega did for PS2 that was exclusive only to PS2 at that time. And it's a fantastic game, which I always hated Sega for not bringing it out anywhere else. And even to this day, they never re-released it, which they should have, because it was a gem. The game was phenomenal, and they basically in the game, she would help you, and you control Dororo with the D-pad, giving her commands to do things for you, like search around for a hidden path, attack, or grab stuff that you couldn't grab while you're fighting, for example. And then with the two analogs and the buttons, you did your fighting scheme, which it played out like a Ninja Gaiden or a Devil May Cry. It was a hack and slash. And give you an example, like when you play in the beginning, in the first stage, everything's in black and white. But when you beat the first fiend after the first level, you get one of your eyes back in the retina of your eye. And then once you get that retina back, the game gets color. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the idea and concept was fantastic, and Sega executed it very well. That's why I said it was one of those games that pissed me off.
This is on PS3?
Yeah, it was a PS2 game. It's a PS2 game, brother.
Okay.
And that's what pissed me off, because it was a fantastic, fantastic game. And they've done animes about it, there's mangas. So, if you guys have either Shudder or if you have like Amazon Prime, they have it there. The difference is, though, it's on Shudder, it's only localized in Japanese. On Amazon Prime. On Shudder itself, it's localized where you could listen to it dubbed in English if you don't want to hear the Japanese version.
Nah, I'm a subtitle guy.
Hebot.
Yeah, but
Brother, explain to us about the one game I was telling you about that Big Ed brought up. The one Golden Axe game that never came to consoles, man.
That's Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder, the arcade one. Yeah, what happened with it?
Do you think, brother, he bought? These consoles we have, like the Series X, are more than capable. Do you think this thing will ever come to fruition, to come out for us to play on console, man?
Well, that's my love-hate relationship with Sega. Because Sega knows what they have, but they don't want to embrace it. They want to try to act like they want to forget about the past because of what happened with Sony and how they had to get out of the console market. They almost treated it like it was something embarrassing with the new regime there.
Yeah.
But the new regime there, for me, in my personal opinion, no offense to anybody, because I know our brother Sega Forever also likes Yakuza. I'm sick and tired that that's all they do. Yakuza. They did Yakuza RTS. They're doing a Yakuza, turn-based. Now they're doing a Yakuza that looks like Sea of Thieves, where you're a fucking goddamn pirate. They're doing a Yakuza in ancient Japan. They keep doing the same thing, like if that's the only identity they have. And that game, the whole existence of that game came because they were looking for a solution to the loss of Shenmue, because Yu Suzuki went to court, had a problem with them because they didn't want to pay him, I guess, enough royalties at the time, or they didn't have the money. And Yu Suzuki couldn't finish off, the series. And so they're like, well, it was a big series that's trying to get something or make something very similar to it, but using a different angle, which was the Mafia, right?
Yeah.
Which is Yakuza. And that's where it came from, which was okay at the beginning, because I'm not saying they were bad games. Me personally, I just don't like the simplicity of the combat. I don't like that everything feels very one button, and then when you do certain things, then you prompt two buttons, and then that's how you do another. I don't like the combat, the way they structured it. And, even though the game's not bad, especially the narrative, how the story is, the acting, the performance is phenomenal. It's top notch. And, nobody knows more than Sega Forever as far as, what I'm talking about with that game.
Well, I will say this. That's the reason I didn't play Yakuza for the longest time.
Okay, I got you.
I didn't play Yakuza because, number one, is on PlayStation. And then I transitioned away from PlayStation.
Yeah.
Two, I was pissed off about it because the only reason why we got Yakuza, right, was because nobody bought Shenmue. So that was my big, like,
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah,
but
so that's why I didn't play it.
But
if it wasn't for Xbox, bro, if I'm being honest with you, if it wasn't for Xbox, look, I kept Sega, right? But if it wasn't for Xbox and Game Pass, I wouldn't be into Yakuza the way that I am right now.
Oh, you would have never played there, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, because it was on PlayStation. There's no way I could have played it. Yeah. Like I'm hardcore about that. When I tell you guys, dude, if you're a company and you want me to play your game, you have to put it on Xbox.
Well, you have to put it where you want to play. Yeah, that's always been my argument in this fight. Like, don't force me to play stuff where I don't want to play it. It's almost like what Sega's doing now, right? They're doing another Yakuza, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Ishii, is it Ishii? They're doing another Yakuza, right? And the point is that Yakuza, what they're doing is they're adding more arcade games that have never been released into the arcade in the game. So they're putting Ocean Hunter, Maze of King, and the rumor is they're going to put Virtual Cop 3, which was never released. 3 bangers that never released, right? But yet they want me to go buy a fucking game in a series that I don't care about. I don't want you to force me to have to buy a game that I don't like just so that I can get these classic arcade games that I loved and grew up with, that I would love to own, and so that I can play them. You see what I'm trying to say? And that's Sega's problem right now. That I got a love-hate relationship with them because they really push me over.
Okay, let me ask you this. Though, right? We just talked about it. I know you came in a little bit later, but we did discuss this, me and SEGAMAN. Do you think that would be resolved when they do their streaming service?
Well, I think that's part of their idea. I think they don't want to respect, or they don't want to sell the games from the past at a low cost, or maybe at a low amount of volume, right? Like I think that they don't want to bring out like an arcade compilation, right? Like Sega man just asked me, right? Because if they make an arcade compilation, that mainly dedicated to a specific audience, right? Yeah. So what I'm thinking that they are thinking is, well, if we bring it out as an arcade compilation and we only sell 50,000 copies, then what's really the point, right? So with a service, they know they can keep you there. The people that like Sega will stay there, subscribe unconditionally all the time because they want to have access to the game, right? And they have no ownership. And the only way they could play it natively through their console would be through a service. And then they could also draw in new people by adding some of the newer stuff that they've, that they've offered that maybe haven't been out before, like maybe Blood Will Tell, for example. That's a little bit more modern and it's never been nowhere else other than PlayStation. Oh, let's put Blood Will Tell in there too, to kind of appeal to the newer audiences, to get their attention or to get their curiosity, right? And I'm thinking this is what they're doing. We'll do it this way and we'll keep making capital or revenue the way that Microsoft is with Game Pass, and then just keep adding stuff little by little. Problem is, long term, as of right now, yeah, they got a bunch of games they can put in there because they got a lot of legacy titles, but long term, they don't really produce a lot of games. You see what I'm saying? They keep making Sonic, Yakuza, Sonic, Yakuza, Sonic. You know what I mean? So to get to my point, long term, I think it'll start to dwindle off, if that makes sense. So, and that's again, that pisses me off because regardless of what, they should give the option by bringing them out natively in an arcade. Come on! Stop asking me questions. Respect. Okay. Anyway, so like I was saying, I think that they will
Hey, what's up, Face?
Huh?
Oh, no, I'm just saying, hey, what's up, Face?
So I think long term, it probably won't work, but they should still give the option to the Sega fans, the real Sega fans, right? To be able to buy these arcade machines. Because look what happened in CES. Did you guys see what just happened at CES? What they just announced or no?
For what? For which one?
Sega. Did you see what Sega announced in the past CES that we just had?
Well, they announced a couple things. Which one?
Well, they announced the small, those small machines that you could buy at the Walmarts and different stores and even Amazon that look like arcade machines, right? So they announced those.
Talking about the 1-Up?
Yeah, they look like 1-Ups, but smaller. The ones that are kind of smaller.
Yeah.
They announced a couple of those, and they're all going to be based off different. They're different IPs. So, for example, they announced Golden Axe, and it's going to have all the Golden Axe from the Genesis, and sure enough, it's going to have the 2 Golden Axe from the fucking arcade. Death Adder, Revenge of Death Adder, being one of them. You see what I'm saying? And each cabinet costs $50. Why the fuck are you making me buy that to get each game separately based off franchises or IPs instead of putting it in an arcade compilation? Because they want to milk the cow and make money on it because they also don't have money the way that others do. So they're trying to make money by forcing you to get shit that you don't want. Does that make sense? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Does that make sense? Here, look, real quick. Here we go.
You mean like this? Let me show you.
Look, here we go.
Let me show you. You mean like this?
Like what? What did you show me?
Like a Neo Geo.
Yeah, like that. Mm-hmm.
Little arcade things like that.
Yeah. Look, I got this in my hand. You guys see it?
Yeah. These
That's
are
the
cool,
game.
but I don't want to play that on. I don't want to play Golden Axe on this. I want to play it on my 4K.
Yeah. Look, the Sega. There you go, Sega. Yeah, those are the ones. Sega Forever. Yeah. And look. Blood will tell you. See? And it says PS2.
Yeah.
This is another one that they had that they did exclusive PlayStation, but it was in collaboration with Namco, which also never came out, and that was the Vampire Hunters. Yeah.
Vampire Hunters?
Oh,
yeah.
On. I have full screen. Hold on.
Vampire Knight. You see it?
Yeah.
That was Sega in collaboration. You see how it says Namco right there? I don't know if you could put it bigger on the screen real quick. Sega Forever. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Let me see.
Well, you've done it before.
I see it. It's like they're like
It says Namco, but then when you turn the game around, right? And what it says there, it says Sega. See it? And it was named by WoW Entertainment.
yeah.
And was supported by the GunCon 1 and 2 on the PlayStation. So again, like I said, these are the things that Sega do that, in modern times that drive me fucking nuts. Yeah, they know what the fuck they have, but then they even came out and said, "Oh no, we are not a retro company." Motherfucker, you're absolutely a retro company. That's what people know and respect you for the most. They don't respect you because of no goddamn Yakuza. The fuck?
You know what? I'll be honest with you, dude.
Yes, my brother.
I'll be honest with you. I can see them doing. What's going to happen is like I can see myself buying this, but not even taking it out of the box.
Right. But you see, they got Outruns, right?
Yeah.
Outrun is going to come Outrun 1, Turbo Outrun, Outrunners, all in one in the machine. You know what I'm saying? With the Genesis version and the arcade version. That's what pisses me off. Right
It's almost sad for me because, you never actually had Sonic in the actual arcade. But I would actually buy this because as a collectible, right? Like to put on a shelf.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Nostalgia. Yeah. I know that. They're $50 each.
Yeah. But I probably never play it. In fact, I'll guarantee you I never play it.
Right. But, that's my biggest gripe and problem with Sega. That right there. That's it that they're doing, how they conduct themselves, as far as their game library. And they really act like their shit don't stink, that they can do whatever they want, like Sony kind of. They do this. They got that same arrogance, in my opinion, especially when it comes to their retro shit. Like, bro,
I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier. They're definitely. I give them a little bit of a pass because they're just a different company now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are a different company. Yeah. And that's just the reality of it. Unfortunately, absolutely. That's definitely the reality of it. But yeah, that's what I mean. I had to answer our brother SEGAMAN's answer. Can they put it on the consoles now? Yeah, absolutely they can. Like me personally, I would rather see the developers of Yakuza, right, or Yakuza, right, make another Binary Domain, like a sequel.
Yeah.
Binary Domain is an amazing game, right?
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Binary Domain is fucking phenomenal. It was so good. Yeah, it was so good that it would rival even Gears of War because it was done so well.
Yeah.
But it's very different at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And Binary Domain was developed by those guys, the ones who did, that are doing Yakuza, right? So for me, it's like, yo, it's a no-brainer. That game had a lot of potential. That game wasn't really well received because it came out at the end of the generation. So to be honest, a lot of people didn't even know that game existed, right? Until later on. So why not, right? Why not make a game, a sequel to that, right? Embrace that because the game is phenomenal. Make a remaster, for example, the way that Capcom did a remaster for Ukami and for the Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. Do a proper remaster, reintroduce it, and make a sequel, right? Because the game deserves it. And then you start giving more diversity. And at the same time, you're giving more diversity to your lineup, right? Or to your... What was that?
You see it? That's a Dig Dug 1-Up. This is what I thought he was talking about. See that 1-Up machine? I thought this is what he was talking about, but it was smaller.
Right. That's a bigger size. I mean, I don't know. The machines might be that big. I can't really tell by the pictures. They might be that big. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big.
No.
But I don't think they're that big. Yeah, that's what I said. But it might be. Oh, who knows? Or they might make two versions where they make a version that's that size and a version that's smaller. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My friend wanted a Game Boy Advance SP, and he traded me for this.
Right. I remember you said in your video. I remember. And you know what? That machine that you got there,
yeah,
the way it was built, you can actually mod it, right?
Yeah.
To the point where you can pull every single arcade game that ever exists from every company in there, and you can play it off that machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it'll fit. Yeah, it's real easy to do too. You just put the ROMs in.
Yeah.
And you can fucking play all the emulation of all the fucking arcade games on that box.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah. Hey, my son didn't show me how to do it. I want to do that too. It's not hard. But my point is that if you could do that with such a machine, then you should be able to get the actual. I'd rather have them natively. Hello?
We're here.
I'd rather have them natively, right?
Yeah.
On my console of choice at home where I can play it in 4K, like you said.
Yeah. Or
I can play it on my 4K TV, better resolution and shit like that. But they don't do it. And that's really something that drives me insane.
Yeah.
But they got an extensive library, and they could do multiple arcade collections. They could do the AM1 collection. They could do the AM2, because you got games like Planet Harrier that's never seen the light of day. Yeah. You got games like the Spider-Man beat 'em up, right?
Yeah.
From that they made that never came out on any console. They got other games, like Virtual Cop 3 that never came out. They got fucking Maze of Kings, Let's Go Jungle, House of the Dead 4, House of the Dead 5, Scarlet Witch, Super GT. They have Ambulance, Emergency Call, the Star Wars Pod Racer, the Star Wars Trilogy, the Jurassic Park games, the Alien games. They got so many that they can bring out. They probably would have to pay a small license fee for the games, but they, all in all, they still have a plethora of games that they can make and bring out, like extensive library, and I don't feel that there's any excuse because now in the era that we're in, that everybody's embracing, remaster older games. I think.
Yeah.
Hey, we lost you, Hebot.
He dropped.
I think it's his headphones.
Yeah, brother. Brother Sega forever, man. My friend, he's really into the
Hello?
1-Up arcades, man.
Yeah,
hey, you here, brother?
You there?
He back.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. What's up? What you gonna say?
No, brother, I was telling Brother Sega forever. I have a friend he bought that's really in to those counter arcade one-ups, man. He's really into. He's trying to. That's it, man. That's an expensive hobby, though, dude. You know, you getting into wanting to collect all. He wants to get like collect them. You know, I'm like, man, you more power to you because they're expensive. Yeah.
What's happening is that a lot of them are not being bought.
Yeah.
So clearance them out in like Best Buys and even like Target. So you probably could buy them when they're clearanced out because they come like there was a machine one oh, I saw the Pac-Man, right? The Miss Pac-Man?
Yeah, yeah.
No, Miss Pac-Man. Had all the Pac-Mans, Miss Pac-Man games that ever came out in the arcade in that cabinet. And they had it clearance stuff for like $88.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, I want to buy it, but I don't have nowhere to put it, huh?
I thought you got it.
No, I wanted to, but I had nowhere to put it, and I couldn't even buy it and sell it off to somebody and make some money because where was I going to put it? Where was I going to store it?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
It's not like I could have. It's not like I could have left it in the car because the box is huge.
Yeah.
I can't just leave it sitting in the car for months or weeks until I sell it either. I couldn't even do that because I was thinking, well, you know what? Let me buy it. I'll sell it for like $200. I'll make about $100 on top.
Yeah.
Because there's only 88 because the original price is about 400.
Right.
And somebody will buy it because it's cheap still, and I can make at least $100 out of it. So that's what I was thinking. You know, that was my mentality, way of thinking. But I couldn't do it. And then when you also remember, you got to remember to ship that motherfucker. You gotta charge a lot of money to ship it out. It's big. So in that case, with those types of products, it's better for you to just leave it as a local pickup when you're selling online.
Yeah.
That you only sell it to people local, right? Where it's a local pickup. Or, you know, if somebody that lives an hour away maybe wants to pick it up, okay, that's fine because they only live an hour away. But other than that, it's really like you really don't make money with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't even bother to turn that open. That's why I didn't even bother to like invest in getting it because it was literally $88 brand new in box, and it's a beautiful cabinet, a one-up. It looks just like the old Miss Pac-Man. You know, it was blue with the fluorescent fuchsia purple and the yellows. Beautiful cabinet, beautiful, and the marquee, you know, turns on with the light, has the nice analog and joysticks on it.
Yeah,
it was gorgeous, and I was like really tempted, but my wife was like, "Papaya." I was like, "Babe, where the fuck am I gonna put it? I don't know where to put it. Because she was thinking, because that was when we were doing the thing to move out with Section 8.
Yeah.
And she was thinking, well, if we move out, you have it, you can put it, in your game room or your fig room, whatever, and you can have it there because she knows I like it. But I was like, man, I'm not gonna be. But until then, where can we store it? You know what I mean? So I didn't do it. But if he can find it for those prices, and in other places around the world, like maybe like in the middle of the the United States area, in states like that, in the middle area, they might be dirt cheap. You know what I mean? So he might get lucky. He just has to keep looking.
Oh yeah.
But if he buys it at full price, like you said, like at the $4.99 price tag that they sell them for, woof, very expensive hobby, absolutely. And it's stupid because again, one of those machines, that board is strong enough that you can put all the 80,000 arcade games that exist, or I think it's 100,000 arcade games, something like that. I think it's within between 80 or 100 between all the companies. That's how many arcade games exist.
Oh,
and if you put them there, they all fit in that memory bank of that machine. You can play them all there in that machine, in that one machine.
Man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure. I got to do that count. I think it's 80,000, but that's also including, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, like all together, all the games ever made for consoles and everything.
Yeah.
to this point. I think, well, emulation only goes as high as I believe as Saturn, Nintendo 64. But you can emulate the Switch, but that's on PC, but that's because of how low powered the hardware is. But you can't emulate really still correctly anyway. You can't still emulate 360 games the right way or Xbox One games because they're too advanced and take a lot of space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anything else, anything after that, you can emulate all that shit. The OGX, but you can have all them shits under one box. And it takes no more, it won't take no more than maybe 3, maybe 2 teraflops. Maybe 2 teraflops. That's all you need. Because of the files, they're not that big.
Yeah.
What's facing? It's facing. Not releasing binary domain 2 is such a missed opportunity. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Shake my head. These companies need to hire gamers and not exclude executives. Yeah, 1,000%.
Are we getting a physical copy of the new oh man, what is it? The new oh man, House of the Dead 2.
Oh, the remake? Probably. It'll be probably, but it'll be in limited runs. The way the House of the Dead was one. Remember when I found the House of the Dead 1 for you and for they were very limited. I don't even know the Sega Forever. Did you ever get your copy of House of the Dead 1 remake in physical or no?
Who, me?
No, so I'm asking Sega Forever.
Oh.
Brother, are you there or he stepped away maybe?
He might have stepped away.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna ask him when he comes back, but that was released a very, very small run.
Oh, sorry, I was getting water.
No worries. Did you get a physical copy of House of the Dead Remake 1 for Xbox?
No, remember I told you like I'm not gonna buy the game if I don't have a gun.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Even though I don't mind, not rather, but I don't mind playing it with the controller. But I know, the experience with the gun and controller is like night and day. You're right. So I respect.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of ranting the other day because I wish Xbox would do more about that. I mean, Microsoft itself.
Yeah, well, they got spooked because remember they were the ones who went to court and they were trying to say that they were promoting violence by putting light guns in consoles, and I'm like, bro, that's stupid. Stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't play it on. I'll never play with a keyboard and mouse, and I can't play with a controller. So. Yeah, and I can respect that because I understand. Plus, the experience is not the same. Mm-hmm. Like I enjoy it with the controller, but I think it's more because of the fact that at least I get to play that arcade game, right, or that remake, as opposed to like that. It's more fun with a controller versus a light gun. No, if I had a light gun, I very much would rather play it with the light gun. Absolutely, I agree 100%. But yeah. But I think they will, to your point, man, to answer your question, I think they will do a release of the House of the Dead because they did a release of the Panzer Dragoon remaster for the first one, right? Panzer Dragon.
Yeah, I got the first one, yeah.
But I don't think it came out for Xbox. The release physical for Panzer Dragon only came to stupid PlayStation and fucking Switch. That's it. The physical version of it.
Wow.
Xbox didn't get one. We just got it digitally. And mind you, I bought that game on Switch. I bought that game on PS4. And I bought the game on the Xbox. Because I wanted to support it on every console to bring up the numbers so they will see there was a demand there. And they will make more. And then that would bring it out physical. And they still gave us the middle finger as always.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't make it physical. Now, House of the Dead 1 remake, they did make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I bought it. I remember when I posted it on Twitter, it was probably the only time, second time, that Boom Stick XL, right, that he actually acknowledged me because I had put something up. But every other time I talk, he acts like he's too big for people to talk to certain people.
Yeah, I can't stand that guy.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And then the one time was when I was putting up on TikTok. No, not TikTok, Instagram. I was putting up the GI Joes when they first started coming out, the classified series.
Yeah.
And saw that I had a couple of new ones. And I said, if anyone needed help, let me know. Reach out that I would try to help get it.
Yeah.
And then he hit me up on DM to see if I would help him. And I said, sure, no problem. Oh, I'll just charge you for the shipping. That's it. I mean, you don't have to pay me extra. And I don't know what happened. I guess he thought, I don't know if I could trust this guy. This guy's going to steal my money or something.
Oh, jeez.
He never did it. Oh, no, never mind. I found them. I was like, oh, okay, no problem. But he never showed me pictures or proof that he did. I think
Really?
I think somebody else helped him, but he got spooked. Like, oh no, that's Hebot. Forget that. That dude, he's known as a criminal. He's the crumb side. He probably gonna steal my money. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. Remember, he's an ex-cop, and he's a white man. And he's a white man. Okay. At the end of the day, a lot of white people, a lot of white people, and I'm not saying that a lot of them are, but a nice amount of white people, they get scared and think that, Hispanics or blacks are going to take advantage of them and rip them off. And unfortunately, it's because it has happened in the past, but not every Spanish or black person is the same way. We're not all criminals, we're not all thieves. You know what I mean? So, you should base it on how that person treats you. The judgment should be done based off that. And if he sees that I was a complete gentleman and I was completely courteous with him, he should have not felt that way. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, plus he's married to a black woman.
Is he?
Yes.
Never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Never knew that. See, you learn something new every day. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow. I know he always used to post the food that she would make for him when he was in his journey to try to lose weight, where he was losing weight. I remember he used to do it, but then he stopped doing it. He thinks he's big dog now. He got insiders. He got special privileges. They send him shit for free, Microsoft all the time. So what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
Hammer and the ones that made him big.
No, I mean, but he put in the work. He did put in the work. Yeah. And at least he wasn't trying to be, I give him credit for that. And at least he wasn't trying to be, what you call it, fake. Like one day he was an Xbox and then the next day he wasn't. He wasn't doing that. At least he was always Xbox. But you're right. Rap Gamer did put him on the map where he, and mooching them, where they introduced him, gave him an opportunity, gave him a platform, then he went on his own. So yeah, in that sense, you're absolutely right. But as far as him doing the work with his channel himself and what he does put in the work. He does. I'm not going to take that away from him, but that doesn't mean that he's still not disingenuous. Because again, when he first started, he was even supposed to have me on the show. He hit me up on DM and said, "Hey, but I want to have you on the show." And then when everybody started kind of drifting away from me, he goes, "Oh, he's too toxic. Oh no, he supports Donald Trump and all that other stupid shit." He kind of drifted away from, and then never invited me. And I still have that DM, which I can prove it to anybody that's questioning me, saying that I'm lying. And I have all those DMs still. He hit me up and said, "I want to have you on the show." PTK Blam did the same thing. Never went through to it. I have the one where Tim Dog was talking to me, saying that they wanted me to replace, K Mega with Xbox 448 because they felt that I had a better rhythm for the show. I knew more stuff. I had more knowledge. And because of K Mega saying that it wasn't right because they were there before, Xbox 448, when Rory War had left and they went on hiatus and stuff, that they were trying to look for other people to put in. That's when all that happened. I still have those DMs also that can prove what I'm saying. Because, if anybody ever questions me, I have all that shit. So it is what it is, bro. This community is all about status quo. They only want to be around the people that, got some type of status to grow and be somebody. They don't want to be around real gamers with real knowledge that don't talk out of their asshole. Gamers that actually know their shit. They don't want to be around them.
Yeah.
They don't care about that. They care about status quo,
Nope, not at all.
Like, oh, yeah, it's all good. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
So did you guys get into any more conversations about anything else with Sega as far as Virtual Fighter?
No, we didn't talk about We didn't talk about the stuff he wanted to talk about. We were waiting for
Oh,
you. We were really
damn.
waiting for you.
My bad. I'm such an asshole.
No, you're not. I got you. I brought you another game.
Oh, did you really? You see? You bum.
You have
How
to
dare,
check your Xbox later. Yeah.
how dare you, nigga?
Where's Sega Fred? Is he here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's there. He's there. He's there. He's just
Fred
when he's silent.
earlier.
When he's silent, he's either doing something or he's trying to figure something out on the computer.
That nigga's eating. He's eating.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I had a there's a Reese's cup, so I went and grabbed that when you guys were talking. And so I had to go grab water, man, because I ate that Reese's cup, man. It was the big cup. I was like, damn.
Oh man.
And then right when I was drinking my water, man, then he was like, "Oh, Sega, did you do that with the House of the Dead?" I'm like, man, figures this dude would ask me a question when I'm trying to choke this peanut butter down my throat. I was laughing when you asked the question. I was like, yeah, that's just my luck.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. When you eat certain chocolate, it burns your throat. You heard, guys?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
You know, I hate when you eat chocolate sometime and it burns your throat. And you're like, fuck, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
You know what it gives? Like chocolate, man. If I overdo it, bro, I'll get heartburn now. That's what happens.
Right. It gives you like a heartburn type of feel in your chest and in your throat. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know why it does that. I was like, am I allergic to chocolate?
Nah, dude, it's the reflux.
Check it out, brother. Sega Trevor.
Oh, what's that, bro?
Talk.
What is that?
It's a speaker and it has water, like a thing. It's just for.
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go. Yeah, when we say stuff, it's like, oh, that's cool, bro.
Is that pretty cool?
Did you get that for Christmas?
Nah, brother. There's this girl I know, Amber, that works at a thrift store, and she gave it to me for free.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. The speaker kind of works like an equalizer.
Yeah.
So every time you speak, it moves. The liquid moves like an equalizer bar.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. It's like, you can have it. I was like, all right, thanks.
My daughter had one of those a few years back, but it fell and broke.
Oh, did it?
Broke. Oil that was inside broke. Yeah. Oh, my daughter just heard me talking. She said, "I got the Hello Kitty one." I was like, "Yeah, she does."
Oh, she
like
does?
when she puts music on.
Yeah.
When she's in the bathroom, and the lights and the water goes to the beat of the music and stuff like that.
I'm getting a newer one that comes out. It's called the Porter Rock version. His head blows up more when you talk.
You stupid as hell. The Porter Rock version.
Yo, what's going on with his brother, man?
Dude, I have a love-hate relationship with Porter Rock, bro, because on one hand, I could respect the guy because he served our military, and he served our country, and that's something very admirable. But at the same time, he's so fucking dumb. So as a Puerto Rican representing us in the gaming space, he's so fucking dumb. He gets me so mad.
No, but that's his brother, right? Doc.
Yeah, Dark Doc. Oh, he's another one. But his brother is one of those dudes that wants to follow whatever's trending. So now, because it's cool to be on PC, no, if I'm not in console. More PC's the way. Like, bro, can you stop? And you stop. You've never been a real console gamer. Yes, you played on consoles, but you've never been a real console gamer. It's like, again, I'll say it 1,000 times.
Hey,
a console gamer is not the same thing as a PC gamer. The mentality of those two demographics are very, very different. You know what I'm saying?
Cygnus says Doc Dark went PC.
Yeah, he went PC, which is funny because his whole argument about going to PC is, because Xbox made a promise and they didn't deliver. They said they were going to keep their games exclusive, or they said the games will run at a certain, a certain frame rate and shit like that. I said, no. Xbox said clear as day that the Xbox Series X would allow you to do 4K up to 60 frames per second, or either or, based on the developer's choice. They made that very clear in their documentary, and people only heard when they said 4K 60 frames per second with no compromise. That's all they heard. But they don't understand that when you're making games for a box set, right? even though the Xbox Series X is very powerful, it's since you have the limitation that you can't keep upgrading it with memory or with graphic cards that are more capable to give you more options or with more flexibility, right? It takes more time to properly optimize for a console, right? So when Starfield came out, they said, and Todd Howard said it, we had the game running in 60 frames ever since the very beginning. But the problem was it wasn't stable. So we didn't like the fact that it was not stable, and we weren't happy with how it was playing unstable. So we made the decision to bring it out and release it at 30 frames and then keep working on the optimization and later release the patch to play the game in 60, right? And that's exactly what he did. He kept their problems exactly what they did. I believe they did the same thing with Redfalls, right? And I believe they were trying to do the same thing with another game. I forgot what it was. And I'm pretty sure they would have done the same thing with Hellblade. But the thing with Hellblade is when you look at their documentary, they said the vision that we wanted was to make the game feel like a movie. So that's why we chose to go with 30 frames with the high fidelity graphics versus the 60. Now on PC,
but that's the sad thing about it, though, right? They
mm-hmm.
explain and they tell you. They even do the inside scoop on it.
Yeah.
You know,
Because they don't look at it, because they don't see it. That's why I said that he's a fucking that he don't know what he's doing.
What I'm saying is that they don't care on the level, like it doesn't matter, right? So why we don't even worry about it at this point? Not us, but
no, I know. Yeah. But why say that you care if you're going to mention and trying to put the blame on Xbox? Well, when they said clear as day, it's up to the developer how they choose to optimize their games, right? And it's been said since day one, but they make it seem as if Microsoft said no compromise 4K 60. Yeah, you could probably have no compromise 4K 60 as long as you stay within reason and as long as you stay within the parameters of the hardware that's available in the box, in the console itself. But when you're trying to get too ambitious and make shit way too realistic, way too detailed, way too many NPCs, way too many levels, way too big as far as an open world structure, they make it way too big. So for that to process everything in real time at 60 frames, it takes a lot of fucking CPU and memory band, to do that.
So, like Microsoft could come out with an Xbox, right? That does everything a PC does. That's the most powerful. It could cure cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, right? But at the end of the day, these people won't care. Right?
Yeah. They'll find a new narrative. I know exactly what you mean.
They have no interest. Right? Like let me read Cygnus's comments real quick. I'll go through his comments and then to kind of prove a point.
Oh boy.
Cygnus says Dark went PC, and then Cygnus says like others this generation. I'll agree. My son is a PC guy. And he said he got bamboozled with the Series X. I'm assuming you talked about Doc Dark. Doc Dark can be bamboozled by anything. If you watch his channel long enough, you'll know that. That's why I don't watch his stuff. And then finally, but that's their first party studio. They should release games with 60 frames per seconds option day one. No, but like Hebot just told you, Cygnus, what Microsoft does is they're hands off. Which is funny to me, right? Because there's a lot of people that play COD right now that are complaining, and they're sitting there going, I'm surprised Microsoft's allowing this to happen. And I said, well, you shouldn't be surprised, because if Microsoft did anything, you pricks will be all over.
Well, if that's true, Cygnus, then maybe PlayStation should release all their games with 60 frames per second. But that's what I mean. They don't say nothing like that.
But here's the thing. They're gonna go and say, yeah, we have 60 frame games. Yes, so does Xbox. They act like if Xbox has none. Like Forza Horizon and Forza Horizon, that's open world, right? And Forza Motorsport, they're all 4K 60, all of them. Every sports game is 4K 60, right? Gears of War is 4K 60, right? Gears of War 5 was 4K 60, gave you 120 frames per second at variable refresh rate option. It had HDR Dolby Vision, and it had the Dolby Vision Atmos surround and ray tracing. That's how much shit that game had. And you could play it like that on a Series X. The thing is that he used an argument that was stupid because he's trying to say every game's supposed to be that way. And no, it's not. Because depending on the game and the structure, you can't do that with an open world game easy on a console in comparison to a game that's level based. Because level based is not pre-rendering anything in real time, right? On a game that's open world, like a game versus a game that's actually level based. If it's open world, it's rendering in real time. So you have to make sure that everything stays rendering at the right frames while running 60 frames, because now you're taking you have to worry about the level itself and how you play and how the character moves and the speed that the character is moving while you're playing it. So there's a difference, but he don't know that. He's trying to act like he's a tech guy. He went now into the PC realm, and now he's asking and talking to PC guys. So he's trying to learn about PC to act like he's a tech guy when he's not a fucking tech guy. He never has been.
Yeah, he's like that other dude. I mean, but my point being,
stupid.
but my point being for all of this stuff, dude, at the end of the day, none of this stuff matters because nobody cares. The
Yeah,
average
nobody
person
cares.
doesn't care. Most gamers actually don't care. The only people that care is that people that occupy the space,
That want to fit and they want to be down. Like I said, he's the person that he wants to be.
and also people that want to actually get clicks and views. So
Yeah, clicks and views as well. Yeah.
Microsoft doesn't care either because they figured out, like a lot of other things that they figured out about. At the end of the day, you guys can talk a big game about all this stuff, but you guys don't buy the system, you don't buy the games, you guys don't support the industry on that level. So you can sit here and talk to me all about 4K 60 frames, bro. You don't even own Cygnus. I'll be honest, you don't own an Xbox, right? So
No,
why does
yeah.
it matter to you, right? Yeah. So I'm pretty sure you're on PC. Or not, if you're not on PC, you're on PlayStation. And
Right.
SEGAMAN made a perfect point. Maybe focus on the console of your choice and what they're doing and not doing.
That's
Or
what
it's like that guy. It's like the Bravian guy. The Bravian guy, he admitted it. And that's why people are respecting him and embracing him, because he said it. Look, I've been a PlayStation guy since PlayStation 1. That's all I played on. And I was completely wrong about Microsoft. I've always thought that their games weren't good, or they didn't have enough exclusives, or that their consoles were shit. And now that my girlfriend bought me a Series X, and I actually got to play it and try it, I realized that I was wrong. He even apologized to his son on a video, which was funny as fuck, right? Because he would make fun of his son because his son always preferred Xbox.
right.
Right? So it's kind of like that dude, what's his name? The other dude that be on there that is a PlayStation hand, that his son plays Xbox and he's a PlayStation hand. Solid Rev. It's almost like him in that situation. But
Yeah.
Solid Rev is not going to do what he did and actually keep it real or keep it 100.
I'm glad you brought up Solid Rev's Cygnus and anybody who watches this video. Solid Rev is a perfect example of the average gamer, why gamers don't have credibility.
Yeah.
Right. Like when you if you listen to this podcast, if you've been here for the whole time, you can tell that we're more than just gamers. Right? We're into the culture of it. And a lot of you guys aren't. And so for me personally, Cygnus, I'll be honest with you, dude, I'm beyond that. The problems that I have with Microsoft are the problems that affect me directly. Right? Like what they're planning to do, what they might do, what they're not doing. Right? I could care less about the 4K 60, all of that trash, because if people were actually honest about it, dude, there's a lot of stuff on every console that you could talk about. But everything shifts to the Xbox side because that's the thing that gets the most clout.
News and clicks, and it's the fun thing to do, because if that's the case, because these are the same people, right, that will be like, yo, Nintendo Switch is the shit, bro. No one can beat them. They're the fucking best. When you're playing every game on Nintendo Switch at 720, 30 frames per second, most cases. Or it's 720, 60. We're talking about a technology and resolution that's been out for over 25 years. And they're still stuck on that resolution. You get what I'm trying to say? But yeah, they're the best.
And if it's fine for their fan base and all, I don't care. That's stuff, like that's the level that I'm at with all this kind of stuff, right? Because at the end of the day, I know none of this stuff really matters. And I know at the end of the day, unless you have a revelation like that dude Heba was talking about, the Bruv guy.
Like
Right? Unless you have that type of experience firsthand, right? None of you guys are going to support this console or this system.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, this is why
the truth is, most of these dudes are not going to be a real man or keep it real and admit that they were wrong the way the Bravian guy did. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, so unless you have that type of experience, man, that's why I sit here every day on my channel and talk about Xbox just taking over. Like Trump's doing with Greenland, and probably will do with the Panama Canal. Right,
Yeah.
he'll probably go in there, and with Greenland, they'll probably economically strong arm them. Panama
Yeah,
Canal,
with
we might just
Greenland.
go in there and do military, right?
Well, you got
This
a
is what
strong.
Xbox. This is what. Let me finish. This is what Xbox and Microsoft needs to do. They just need to go in and just strong arm everybody because you guys ain't gonna change, bro. You
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
aren't. So what Xbox and Microsoft needs to do, and I know they won't do this, but this is what they need to do. They need to make you change. That's what I would do if I was in charge of Xbox right now. I would actually make you guys change. And what I mean by that is I will give you no option but to play an Xbox.
yeah.
Even if you're on PC or if you go on another console that still might be around, you're still gonna have to deal with us. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'm tired of all this, dude. I'm tired of all this. And not you personally, Cygnus, but you make the same arguments that I hear on the internet all the time. And the thing that drives me nuts about it is I know you guys don't really care about it.
Yeah, yeah. But they don't even own an Xbox, but yet they're the ones with the loudest, with the most opinions.
Yep, yeah.
So for me
nothing
personally,
about an Xbox.
yeah, nothing. None of this matters because none of you guys will ever support them. What I would do is I would make you bend the knee and make you support them. Either I make you support them or you would leave gaming. This is what I want Microsoft to do. This is what I actually want them to do because they can. Because they're that big dog. And when this new administration comes in, I hope that's what they do. Because this new administration is coming in is very business friendly. Right? And I'm tired of dealing with you guys. I wish you guys would just go away if I'm being perfectly honest with you. You know, I'm doing this podcast as a Sega thing because I'm trying to find joy in gaming. And one thing that brings me joy is Sega. And we're going to shift back to this because I don't want to get we got derailed by this topic, right?
Yeah.
But I will say my piece about this, dude. I want you guys gone. I want you guys gone so bad. I wanted you guys gone from the day that Dreamcast fell because the same trash you guys are talking about with Xbox going third party, it's good for the show. We've been there. We were there. We were there with Sega. This is the same crap you guys talked with Sega.
Saturn, like a Dreamcast. Yep.
Yeah, and you guys never supported the Dreamcast. You never supported the software. That stuff when I owned every single console because I had to play all the Sega games. And none of you guys bought those games. This is why you don't have a Shenmue 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and why you got Yakuza. And that's why I never played Yakuza because I knew why they came up with Yakuza because they couldn't support Shenmue and they couldn't support Shenmue because they were willing to do the next chapters of Shenmue, right? But what they didn't have was a financial stability, right? Because a lot of you guys that talk all this trash, right? You guys never follow through on it. And I know Microsoft knows this because they're looking at the numbers, right? And I know that they know this. What I want them to do is realize that the only way to make Xbox number one and to support guys like us that support them is to actually just nail you guys to the wall. That's what they need to do. Make you guys come in there and go so hardcore that you guys will either bend the knee and become pro Xbox channels like a lot of these guys are. All of these, this is how I know all these influencers are. I'm going to rant for a bit. This is how I know all these influencers are full of crap because all these influencers who hated Xbox and would focus on Nintendo and Sony, as soon as that well dried up, now all of these dudes are doing showcases that are Xbox. You know why? Because there's no other showcase. No other showcases. And then they do the same thing like that Bruv guy did. Right? They're watching the showcase and goes, oh man, South of Midnight, that looks pretty cool. Whoa, that's interesting. I didn't know that games like that. Yeah, that's how clueless the public is when the gaming public is. So again, I know this is hardcore. A lot of you guys, you sound like a communist. I don't care. I want Xbox to just look, man, Phil, just wake up and make these dudes bend the knee. Just make them bend the knee. Go buy who you need to buy. Go buy who is it? Interactive Take-Two. Whoever does that stupid what's that game? Grand Theft Auto. I don't even play Grand Theft Auto, but I want them to buy it because I know all you guys play it. So if that's what it takes to make you guys buy Xboxes to get into their ecosystem to do whatever they need to do, I want them to do that. All right, Cygnus. That's
I saw somebody. Hey, brother, I saw somebody saying yesterday. They said some stupid ass shit, and that's how I know. And it correlates to what you just said, and makes 100% sense. But somebody was saying that, okay, and it was based off a video game, right? There's a company called Storm Collectibles that was making new Gears of War figures, right?
Yeah.
It was NECA first, and then now Storm Collectible all these years later. And they brought out figures for Gears of War 5, right? Which I bought all of them, which I bought Kate, Marcus, Coltrane, and then they were supposed to bring out Dom, and the Queen, right? And those figures have been in pre-order for more than 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Now, they haven't come out. So just recently, people started posting up, myself included, that the pre-orders that we had were canceled because the line has been canceled. And then the guy does a video. You could tell he doesn't know nothing about video games. Well, it kind of makes sense since, Xbox is garbage. They don't make no money, and it's not worth investing in their stuff, right? And I'm like, dude, this video has no credibility because first of all, you don't know shit about gaming, and the way I know you don't know shit about gaming because Microsoft is more profitable than Windows. It's the biggest division in the world. It's not marketable. It's not profitable. They're worth over $700 billion alone. The Xbox division by itself. They're worth more than Sony, Nintendo, and fucking anything that's on Apple in their video game department or anybody else in the world doing video games all put together. That's how big Xbox division is, right? That's number one. Number two, everything has license expiration. Gears of War 5 came out almost 5 years ago, right? So they were supposed to bring out those figures long ago. More than likely, the actual, license expired, the license deal, and because the hype of the game is no longer there, because it came out so long ago, the hype for the figures are not high anymore. So when they probably wanted to do a new renewal for the figures, they didn't want to invest the money in it to buy out the license again because it wouldn't be worth their investment or their returns for their investment, right? Because there's no longer that hype for that product. That's why when something is hot in the oven, you see people pushing it quick because you got to nip it in the bud while it's still hot in the oven, where there's interest, right? Like when Squid Game came out, Stranger Things came out, Cobra Kai, Fortnite. Every time something has this big resurgence, that's when you got to hit it right in the nail and make a lot of product because that's when people are still interested. So Gears E-Day is coming out. They might do another deal for that game because there'll be hype again for Gears of War all over again. But right now, financially, it's not going to make sense. But it has nothing to do because Microsoft is not doing well or it's a shit company or nobody wants them because that's a lie. Because 40 million people is 40 million people. Regardless what you want. I don't understand how 40 million people is not a lot of people. That shit don't make no sense to me. How you sit there with a straight face.
A lot of people. That's a lot of people, bro.
Exactly. And then when you look at the numbers as far as active online users, they have over 90 million people, active users. And with PC and all that stuff is over 100 and something. Because they said the numbers themselves, Xbox themselves. How you want to say that? That's not a lot of people actively on the Xbox ecosystem or on their brand. Like, that makes no fucking sense. That's how you know when people say shit, they just dumb. They say it for saying it because it's the narrative or it's fun to say, but have no clue what they're talking about. Just like Sega Forever just pointed out. They have no clue. And like he said, they can make a console right now that is just as on par with a PC, right? Or a high-end PC.
Yeah.
And they'll still find a new narrative to say Xbox sucks.
Yep.
Because even if Xbox put all their games on another platform little by little to try to make and earn some more money, the end of the day is us Xbox gamers, we're not forced to buy any of those games day one, especially if we're not economically stable or if we have economic hardship. We're not forced. We can play it on Game Pass. Then we can buy them at our own leisure. You can't do that in any other platform. Not with no Xbox games or not with the games that they offer you themselves. You can't do it with PlayStation games or Sega games or Xbox games or any other game. Same thing with Nintendo. So you're not going to argue with me that it makes more fucking sense to own a PlayStation because they have all the games when you're paying $70 out of pocket for each game forcefully. You have no choice. The same thing with Nintendo. The same way you're not going to fucking convince me oh, let's just get a PC when you're paying way more money for a PC versus a console with a lot more nuances that you don't have on a console just to play Xbox games. That's also a lie. When you could get an Xbox Series X for almost $250, in some cases $200, right? Because it's been as low as like $187 for Black Friday. You're gonna tell me you wouldn't buy that to play Hellblade, Flight Simulator, Forza, you know what I'm saying, Stalker, Indiana Jones, and you rather go spend a grand, 1,500, $2,000 on a PC just so that you can play Indiana Jones with a little bit better detail?
Yep.
Bull, go suck my balls. Y'all a bunch of lies. There's no fucking way you're gonna convince me of that bullshit because it makes no logical sense, no economical sense, no financial sense. That is fucking dumb. Oh, but PC is long-term investment. Yeah, I get that. But you're not going to go buy a PC to play video games. Because consoles are long-term investments too. Because once they fucking come out and then they come out with a new generation, all you do is trade in that console, which you can't do with a PC. You get $200 for it and only pay the difference for the new console, which you can't do with no PC graphic card, no PC memory system, no PC cooling system, no PC chassis. Nothing. Can't do that. Can't trade it in. In fact, you would have to buy a program or buy like a, what you call that? Like a, you would have to buy a plan with the store that sells them, right? Like a Circuit City or like a Micro Center. Buy a $200 plan so that if your PC gets messed up, you can exchange it or upgrade it. That's what you have to do. And then after you upgrade it, you got to pay money again so that you can get the option to be able to do it again in the future. It's not like that with console. Console, you trade something in, you don't pay shit. You don't have to repay shit. You just get the new one, pay the difference, and you bring your other one, you trade it in, you do it again. You don't pay nothing out of pocket. So again, anybody claiming those shits, again, it makes no logical sense, no financial sense, no economic sense. You're all lying. You're full of shit. And it's not true. You're not doing it for PlayStation. You're not doing it for a PC. You're not doing it for a fucking Nintendo Switch. Especially with Xbox giving you also the option that you could buy a console financed with no interest for 2 years with Xbox All Access. You can literally go in there, get it free as long as you qualify and pay $27 a month or $37 a month. Nintendo and Sony are not giving you that option. And sure as hell, you ain't getting that option with no fucking PC either. So cut the shit, stop the lying, because none of you are doing that. You're just talking shit for talking shit. And if you're doing that, show me the receipts. Because if you're doing that, you're pretty stupid. You're pretty dumb. That's why you're not successful in any way, financially or with business, because you're dumb. That don't make no sense.
Now, a lot of this stuff it's pros to swine. So that's why, again, I reiterate my point, right? For Xbox, dude, none of these people are ever, no matter what you do, they're not going to buy your system and they're not going to buy your games. That's the reality. Mm-hmm. So again, you need to force them. And that's the good thing about it. Either you bend the knee or you leave. Either way, I win at the end of the day. Because I don't have to see you guys again because you guys are irritating.
Yep.
Right? So you guys will be gone. So that's awesome for me. And then on the flip side, if you do join over, you're probably going to end up like the bruv guy. And then realize that, if you like games, and that's the thing. I know a lot of you guys. That's what I've been saying on my channel for the last couple of years, man. I realize all you guys are not gamers. You're just not.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit here and just opine about gaming for hours. There's stuff like if we just let this podcast go, I'm gonna shift it back because we're like 2 hours. I gotta shift it back because I'm gonna have to leave pretty soon. But what it is like we could sit, me, Keybot, and SEGAMAN could sit here for like all day and just talk about Sega stuff all day, right? And speaking of Sega, let's course correct. Sorry, had to get that off my chest, man, because it's been bugging me for the longest time. And Cygnus, like I said, you're more than welcome. We can talk about your little comments all you want to. But at the end of the day, it won't matter because everybody on this podcast understands.
We know the angle.
Yeah, and we know why we game. And nothing's going to change that. So the final thing, we'll end with this, dude, because I do want to talk about this because I love Yakuza. And 2025 is going to be a big year for fighting games, not just for the fact that Virtua Fighter is making a comeback.
Right.
But there's a lot of other. This is probably the most competitive I've seen in the fighting gaming market in a long time. If you guys didn't know my history, fighting games, sports games, that was what I cut my teeth on. Um, on top of the other games, I love platformers. Used to play action adventure games. Those were the main genres. I played a lot of different games, but those were the main genres for me. Plus, I spent a lot of time in the arcades, so of course, you guys know I played a lot of fighting games. And so, we're gonna share this real quick because I do like this. Hold on. We're gonna kick off with this. Let me try and find it, dude. I lost my track. Hold on one second. I lost it. I'm gonna have to find it. Hold on. Let me share this. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna large screen it. Oh, messed up.
この時を待ってたぜこの時を待ってたぜ
Look at it. Running.
That's one of the best ones ever. Virtual Fighter 2.
Virtual Fire 2 is my favorite.
Dorel. You know my favorite character is Dorel.
Oh,
Yeah, the one that's like the T1000.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was a cheap character.
I still think and the fact that they never brought Virtual Fighter 4 out to any other console.
Yeah.
But that one was exclusive to PlayStation 2.
I got the one from PlayStation. I kept them. PlayStation 2.
Yeah, the one from PlayStation 2, you know, they did Evolution. Like, but all those were exclusive. It never came out anywhere else. Virtual Fighter 4.
Yeah.
That's been pissing me off.
That's why it's good to keep them.
Huh?
I said that's why it's good to keep them. They're exclusive on there.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as far as that's why they didn't reach a bigger audience and it didn't do as well.
Yeah.
Virtual Fighter 5 did well because they put it everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though the 360 version had there was the only version with the online, you know, where you could play online.
Yeah.
At the time, and then they did a remaster of that.
Sorry, guys. Hold on.
They did a remaster of Part 5 on PS4, and you could also play on PS5 of this, you know, but they never brought it out for Xbox. You know, like they redid it a little bit with better graphics, some tweaking and online play.
Yeah.
But it never came out for Xbox. It was actually free on PS4. You could download it free for a while. Now you have to buy it.
Really?
And I'm like, bro, Sega, really? You did that shit? You didn't bring it out to Xbox, even though Virtual Fighter 5 online was backwards compatible? Like, what the fuck?
It's messed up.
That's what they fucking did.
Virtual Fighter 2 is like my favorite Virtual Fighter.
Yeah, that shit was good. Virtual Fighter 2.
3 was really good too. The only thing is with 3, and 3 was awesome. I'm not gonna lie. But 2 I like because so as the series went on, they would adjust the characters, right, and they changed the move sets. And so Wolf Hawkfield in Virtual Fighter 2 and 3, man, dude, I was unstoppable with that dude. Because a lot of the things when it comes to Virtual Fighter, man, of course the range, and as the graphics improve, you have to take into consideration. Oh, sorry, Hiba, I didn't know you dropped. But a lot of times when it comes to when the graphics would improve, you also have to take that into consideration as well. So.
Oh yeah, because the leap from Part 1 to 2 is big.
Yeah.
Holy shit! They went from 1 to 2, and it's like, oh my. You know, did you guys, I'm pretty sure you did. You remember when they made the Saturn version and everybody was like, oh, you know, it's good, but still not, it should have been just like the arcade. And then they went and did like a remix version where they made it even better than the arcade version. And then they shipped it out for free for anybody who bought a Sega Saturn. Do you remember that or no?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, I have it too. I still have it. Yeah. You remember that though, Sega Man, right? Sega Forever.
Yeah, I have it too. So,
Oh, nice, nice.
so you're talking about the one on PlayStation, right?
No,
No,
no.
that one's
When the Saturn first came out, right?
Yeah.
They did Virtual Fighter 1. Remember, it was Virtual Fighter 1, Sega Rally, and Virtual Cop 1, right?
right.
Then what happened was that people were saying that they were just a little upset because the port for the Sega Saturn felt rushed or incomplete
Really?
because the machine was capable, but it didn't feel better than the arcade. And then Sega, what they did is they did a remix version with actual better graphics, better on the on the character models, on the levels themselves, and tweaked it up. And then they shipped those out to everybody who bought a Sega Saturn. They shipped it out for. It was
Yeah,
like
well,
a.
I had to buy mine. So
Oh, you bought yours? Oh, okay.
I had to.
Yeah, I got mine free in the mail. If you register the console and you registered it and let them know, they send it to you for free.
Yeah. So
Yep.
like I said earlier, I secondhand bought mine from a friend.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you
So
still had the option to register it, by the way.
yeah,
You
but what I
probably,
ended up doing,
you probably didn't know.
I just ended up buying the game. You know, Virtual Fighter Kids. I had that.
Virtual Fighter Kids was
Yeah,
fun.
that's how hardcore of a fighter I was. I was.
Yeah,
That's all I
yeah.
did was fighting games.
Virtual Fighter Kids was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And so was the Fighters Mega Mix. Remember that?
Yep. Had
Yeah.
fighters in the mix, yeah.
That shit was a lot of fun,
I got
too.
all those, man. I got them still.
Yeah, like Sega Man showed Fighting Vipers. That's one of my favorite games.
Yes.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Two
And
never
then,
made
or
it.
was that Fighting Vipers or the Bronx one? Which one did you show, Sega Man? I'm sorry.
I showed Last Bronx and Fighting Vipers, but Fighting Vipers 2 never made it to the United States.
Yeah.
That's the one I would like to get.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, at that time, bro, there were so many great games like Project, and the Japanese one. What was it? Project? Jeez, come on, go back. Project, the high school one. My gosh, dude, my mind. There's like so many good fighting games back then, but yeah, man,
Oh yeah.
Virtual Fighter was untouchable. But like I said, that's how I learned to play the game because I had the console version. You know, because you go to the arcade and have these guys that knew the moves, and you didn't know the moves, so you have to learn the hard way, of course. And I
Yeah.
got better at the game, man, but I didn't know like Cage Maru. I didn't know half the moves he had.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the drunken monk, the old man, right? I forget his name.
Yeah, the Drunken Fighter, yeah. Shundi, yeah. Oh, let me say it properly, Kaji. I used to say Cage back then, so he's Kaji. I'm like, oh, whatever, dude.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
I also love playing as especially in 5. I love playing as Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
That's what he did with
Yeah,
his
yeah.
Rey Mysterio's a dope player. He's fast too. Rey Mysterio but my favorite will always be Cage. Cage will never die for me. That was my favorite because I've always been a ninja fan. So
Yeah, that's why I always played Wolf Hawkfield and Jeffrey. Right? 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
One was Pancreas and the other one was just professional wrestling. But they had awesome moves. And so when I played a Virtual Fighter, so Jeffrey had this move, man. I see people pull it off, but nobody knew how to do it. And I didn't realize how simple it was. And so I would play a lot of guys. They love to play Jackie, they love to play Shundi, and they love to play the ninja because what they love to do is a lot of the sweeps.
yeah.
So with Jeffrey, what I would do, man, is I knew people like to play with them, and so they'd always try and foot sweep you at the end of a combo. And so I just wait for them to go into their combo, then I block for this foot sweep. And Jeffrey had this move, and all it was down and 3 buttons. And you walk up to him and you grab him by the face and pick him up, and just shake you in the air and just slam you back down to the ground. That was my favorite. I would do that to people all the time, and he'd be like, "Oh." Yeah, that was an
I like
awesome.
Jackie and Dorel.
Oh, go ahead.
I say I like Jackie and I like Dorel.
Yeah, the row was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jackie's a good fighter, but he got the strong legs. Jackie got strong legs.
Yeah.
That character was super cheap, though, man. That's the quarter munching days, man.
Yeah.
I hated that, dude. When you get to the end of it, you know how cheap that character was.
I like Jackie. When you hit that motherfucker with that kick with Jackie, forget about it. That shit. If you felt like he broke somebody's spine,
Oh yeah.
His kicks were hard. Jackie's kicks were crazy.
The one was the machine gun kick. I used to love that one.
Mm-hmm.
It starts from the bottom and works his way up to his face.
What was it? He said, "What a knucklehead."
His back fist too. It's funny because his sister was more about the straight up kicking, and then Jackie was about the kick. He had kicks, but he was more about.
Oh yeah, Sarah. Sarah.
Oh, go ahead.
Sarah is the shit. I still got those polygon figures of them, right? Of the first,
Oh, those are awesome. Yeah.
the Virtual Fighter. I got Akira and I have Sarah in the polygon form.
Mm-hmm.
It's $54.99. Are you guys high? How much is that?
Hey, 1 second, guys. Hiba, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me
It's a good character if you could use him was Pi.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you know how to use them, definitely.
This kid learned it in 3 days.
Hey, what's up, Judah Gaming? He says putting their IPs on other platforms that's going to continue to kill their consoles in next gen console. Yeah, that
Who said that?
Judah.
What did he say?
He's saying that putting their IPs on other platforms
Uh-huh.
that's going to continue to kill their consoles in the next generation.
Kill what console?
Xbox.
Xbox. It'll probably kill the sales a little bit, but regardless, at the end of the day, owning an Xbox console is obviously the better option for a lot of reasons. Ecosystem, price point, flexibility of how you buy the console itself. Like I said, with Xbox All Access, which I'm pretty sure they'll offer that next generation. The fact that you play all the exclusive on Game Pass day and date, you don't have to buy it necessarily flat out day one, especially if you're economically going through a hardship, for example. The fact that you can bring all your peripherals with you forward, the fact that it has the 4 generations, well, now at that point will be 5 generations of backwards compatibility with your entire library from Xbox OG all the way to now. Cloud gaming included, getting the copies of your games for PC included, being able to do cloud savings for free. It's so many, quick resume, smart delivery, boost mode. Man, the list goes on and on. There's no reason you can't even make the comparison. Because on PlayStation, everything comes out of pocket. For Christ's sakes, you got to pay for cloud saving. It's under a paywall. So, that's how bad it is over there. Why would I want to do that? Like I said, I got a PlayStation. Somebody bought it for my son. And I just buy the games that are exclusive when I see them for $5 or $10. And I still get to play them. It's not like I'm not going to be able to play them. I bought Astrobot day one because I love platformers. And look, I'm an Xbox dude. And most PlayStation dudes didn't even buy it. I bought it. And I'm an Xbox guy. I bought the controller, for Christ's sake. The beautiful custom controller, which unfortunately was a waste of money because I know once they make PS6, I can't use that controller. They're going to make a new controller and it's not going to be forward compatible. On Xbox, it's not like that. All your controllers you buy, you're going to be able to use it to any future console. That's been confirmed long ago by Phil himself. He said it. That's our goal, and that's what we're going to do. So, again, it depends on how you see it. Most people, if they knew all the advantages you get on an Xbox, even if they were putting their games everywhere else, they wouldn't even bother to blink or go anywhere else. They would stay on Xbox. Because at the end of the day, the value is way too high. As far as a consumer goes and as a gamer. Too much value versus everybody else. Everybody else is not giving you value. So, and that's just a fact. If they did, it would be different. Totally different.
Yep.
All right, guys, I'm going to run this next video. But Judah, thanks for being here, brother.
Run it, buddy.
There he is.
Oh, the man himself, Yu Suzuki.
30周年おめでとうございます。というか30年間バーチャルファイターのブランドを守り続けた皆さんに感謝です。開発当初はフル 3D の格闘を世に出して周りはどう反応するんだろうなんてワクワクしながら作っていたことを思い出します。バーチャルファイタープルトのキャラクターは昔段ボール箱みたいなもんでできていました。とても人間に見えるような代物じゃなくて ロボットという意味でロブ1、ロブ2って呼んでました。今やバーチャファイター進化してとうとう人間になりました。感慨深いものがあります。映像を見た感想ですけども、特に背景なんかは僕の好きなアジア系の色とりどりで細密感のある表現がとても印象的です。少しシェンムーに共通するようなことを感じます。リアリティもどんどん上がってきて、匂いを感じるようなそういったリアリティがあります。特に印象的だったのはバトルで、バトルのデモはすごく良くて、そこだけ撮っても大ヒットするんじゃないかなっていう予感がします。主にコリジョンディテクションっていうんですけども、相手のパンチが入った時に一旦肉で受けて、それから力が伝わって、それで相手が飛んでいく、すごいリアリティがあって、まさに僕の目指すところのバトルに近い形が実現されるんじゃないかと思っています。リュウのチームがバーチャファイターを作ってくれるって聞いて大変楽しみにしています。早く遊びたいですね。以上。
Dude, I know he's getting older, man. It's starting to show.
Yeah.
I mean, but he still looks good for his age. I mean, he's got to be in his 70s at least, right?
Yeah, he's up there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't want to do the deep dive. I don't want to go into all the history that him and Sega have, but just kind of appreciate, his legacy, so to speak, because he's done a lot for the company.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people nowadays realize how much he did with them as far as the arcade. I mean, he did a lot.
He was one of the staples of why Sega was so successful, without a doubt. That's why I said it was messed up that they didn't give him his royalties, where he had to get pissed off and go fucking sue them and go to court just so he could get the IPs back. Like Afterburner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Outrun. Matter of fact, that's the reason why they took out Afterburner Climax and Outrun, the last one that came out, coast to coast, off the arcade market from the 360 and the PS3, because he bought those IPs and the rights to them back from Sega.
Man, dude.
That's good that he got his IP back, though.
I mean, it's good and it's bad because it's good because, at least he can preserve them and use them whenever he wants. But it's bad because we all know that him by himself, he don't have the finances to do it.
Yeah.
At least Sega has somewhat of finance to do it. That's why I always said I wish Microsoft could buy them, because if Microsoft bought them, it would give them so much financial freedom and they can go back to their old ways without having to worry about cost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I mean,
And I know Microsoft will let them do whatever they want to do as developers. I know they will.
Well, I was talking to SEGAMAN earlier about this, man. I think they are getting funding. I would assume it's from Microsoft. But I saw this one video. I'll try and share it. I'll try and find it. Where this guy was congratulating them.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a sheik from Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow.
So automatically, I was like, oh, dude, is that where they're getting their money from? You know what I'm saying?
I'm also wondering if they haven't really given out a release date for the games they announced in the Game Awards last year. The Shinobi, and haven't given really an update. For games like the Jet Set Radio, the Crazy Taxi, the Golden Axe, the Streets of Rage. I'm wondering if they haven't done an update because they're planning to put those new ones in the streaming service that they're planning. That's so called. That the rumor is that they're trying to bring out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense, right, if they did that.
Yeah.
But to me, it would make better sense if they worked with Microsoft and did it for Game Pass.
Absolutely. But again, because of the financial freedom.
Yeah, so depending. So, like, if it's Microsoft supporting, which I still think it is, could be wrong, right? That's just me speculating, guys. That's my own.
Wait, what was that you said, brother? I couldn't hear you. What was that?
If it is Microsoft supporting them, which I believe they are, that's my opinion, total speculation. They're getting their money from someplace. And I know they had great years, but in order to get where they are, they needed to invest. And somebody's foot in So
Right. I mean, if it is Xbox that's doing it, it wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
Because Microsoft loves, what you call it? They love helping people, even though they get the worst end of the stick. That's another thing.
maybe I won't share this. I don't want to create.
Microsoft helped them out when the Dreamcast came out.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah. That's why that Power On was pretty good, right? They talked a little bit about that history.
Yeah.
that fucking was a great documentary.
All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. I didn't realize what time it was. It's like 12:15. So we'll wrap it up with this. Give our closing thoughts and then call it a day.
All right. Bro.
Let's go.
Can you guys see it?
Let's see.
Yeah, I see a big eyeball.
With a lot of ray tracing reflections in it.
Yep.
It's a beautiful crow.
It's so Japanese. Nice. Hey,
Oh, yeah, him, yo.
I love that too. I love that eyeball.
Virtual Fighter is my favorite 3D fighting game of all
Oh
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I like Dead or Alive, but Virtual Fighter is my number one game, man.
And you said this a lot of times. You said this from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trailer that everybody's buzzing about. Now, granted, it's a demo, so it's not. They're not saying that's actual gameplay. It's something that they made to kind of Virtual Fighter 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, look, dude, some of these channels that talk about fighting games, stuff like that, look, I'm cool with them and stuff like that. But when you start delving into the realm of Virtual Fighter and Sega, dude, that's where I kind of like pull back. Virtual Fighter is iconic. I hope they go back to the classic Virtual Fighter. If the graphics are as hardcore and strong as it looks, then hopefully it'll be more in the vein of Virtual Fighter 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the fighting style, like going back to basics. I would love to see that. And it's almost like a renewal, dude. I don't know. There's so much going on with Sega, and we'll close it up with that, guys. I mean, there's so much going on with Sega, and right now they're doing really well. They've been doing well for a couple of years. I mean, even though I was not as hardcore I was back in the day. I mean, we have an affinity for them. It's just like my Steelers or like the Lakers. I always keep up with them, and especially for the last 3 years, I'll say that Sega's really coming to their own. I think they're beginning to realize who they are, what they're capable of, what they're doing. It doesn't have to be what I want. I'm old school. As long as they give me a great experience, and at the end of the day, that's what I'm getting from them. And I think that's important. And I think that's something I hope they don't lose focus of, because we've seen Sega do that in the past, where they've gotten a little bit too far ahead of themselves, or they got maybe a little bit too big-headed, not listening to the fans, not giving the fans what they want.
Yeah.
Like Hebot was saying throughout the whole podcast, they just do things that absolutely make no sense. And that's a problem that they've always kind of had. And trust me, I'm not saying this to get anybody off the hook. There's a lot of stuff in the gaming industry that did these guys wrong, that did this company wrong, and I think that's sad because they're one of the pioneers of gaming. Like I can look back on Atari, remember what Atari did to put them in a bad situation, but nobody ever spit on their grave. Sega's always been a different story for whatever reason. And I know the main reason is because you have PlayStation guys. They're they get no sympathy from me. Right? Gaming changed when these pricks came into the industry. So,
Oh yeah.
Um, so you know, I would like my personal opinion is I wish nothing but success, but I really would like them to get the backing of somebody like Microsoft.
Dollars.
To your point, about what you said earlier, that financial backing, the security, the ability to dream big and go big. You know,
So,
and
more next year, you
Let me see if you guys can.
getting that.
You guys were big fans of Sega, okay? Sega came out with a lot of different 2D fighting games. Back when Street Fighter was big for all the systems wanting to make their own games, or these different companies making games, right? I have this old fighting game. Let's see if you guys remember it. You ever heard of a game on the Genesis? It was called Fight Masters.
Right? No.
I probably have to see it. Do you have one? Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I'll show it to you in a minute. I didn't know if you and Hebot would remember it, but it was made by Trico. I think it was made by a company called Trico, and it was these aliens, and it played just like Street Fighter, and it was called Fight Masters.
Hmm.
I'll have to get it for you guys here in a second. But yeah, they came out with so many different low budget or different types of fighting games, like this one called Power Moves. Do you remember Power Moves?
Mm-hmm. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, remember they also had Power Stone. They also had a 3D one where it was like I'm trying to remember the name of it, where it was like 3-dimensional, like the way Guardian Heroes was, or yeah, Guardian Heroes. But you can jump from the 3 dimensions all the way to the back, to the front, and forward. To the to the front area of the screen. But it was a 3D fighter. Like they had Last Bronx also, which I always thought Last Bronx deserved a sequel. Also, that game was fantastic with the weapons.
Oh,
Hello?
no, go ahead. We're here.
No, I'm just trying to remember the name of it. Like Eternal Champions, they should go back to that and bring it back out and do a new one too. I think that would be great.
SEGAMAN, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I see Deadly Moves.
SEGAMAN.
He's probably looking for the game. My bad. I should have said his name. When it gets to them, we can look at it. I'll put him on the middle.
SEGAMAN.
Yeah.
I think he's went to grab the game.
Probably went to grab the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. This one, it's a this is the Mega Drive cartridge, because I own a Mega Drive too, a British version of the Genesis. The game in the United States was called Power Moves, but this one is actually, I have in the complete in its cartridge. It's called Power Athlete, but this
Yeah,
is the this is it here. See it?
Okay.
But if you look at the back of it, all these characters used to resemble Ryu. Now look at the back. See that character? So it was all these different fighting games that came out back in the Genesis days. They resembled Street Fighter, but it was their own type of Street Fighter game. As you can see the company right there. Did I say it right? Trico?
Let me see the-
Kaneko.
Yeah.
Wait, lift it up. Oh, it's Kenneco.
Yeah. I don't even think they don't exist no more. This game came out in 1992.
What's it called again?
It's really in the United States. I have the United States version, but I only have the tape, and I don't want to look for it. This is the Mega Drive version. It's called Power Athlete, but the original one is called Power Moves. This is the British version. They name it something different called Power Athlete, but it's called Power Moves, and it had exactly It was like Street Fighter. It was a copy of Street Fighter, but they had their own like special fireballs, special moves, and different stuff like that. See right there, Hebot, where the dude kind of looks like Ryu.
Yeah. I remember that game.
You remember this game? And he
Yeah.
stands like him. You know,
Yeah, I
so,
remember. It had a vibe to Street Smart.
yeah. Street Smart was also a great game. I have that too on
Genesis?
just have the disc. I mean, not the disc, but the tape.
You got it on Genesis?
Yes.
Okay.
Street Smarts, yeah, I have the cartridge. I got it a long time ago, brother. He bought long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that you remember he bought? They came out like this one, Fight Masters. I'll show you later. He bought in Sega Forever. I'll send you a picture of it to your phone. But they came out with all these different. Remember when the fighting games was just big? When Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were big, all these other companies started coming out with all these weird and strange different fighting games.
Yeah, Fighters History.
Yeah, Fighters History.
What is it? World Heroes.
I love World Heroes 1. That's one of
Got
my
World Heroes, King of Fighters,
King of Fighters. Yeah,
Showdown.
I
Because it
guess.
was making so much fighting games made so much money back then in the arcades, especially.
And you know what? Street Fighter didn't even really. But Double Dragon didn't start the fighting games. It was Renegade. Renegade started, I think, the fighting games. Like when it come out, like you know how you play Double Dragon. I think I'd have to say Renegades probably was first with that. I guess around that time, the fighting game stuff. You know,
Yeah.
if you remember Renegades.
Renegade, yeah. You mean to beat 'em up?
Yeah,
Yeah, Renegade. I still have that.
remember that?
Yeah. I have that on PS2. I bought it on PS5 rather.
You lost your mic.
It's like fucking. They have it on like the arcade archives on fucking PS5 and Twitch. Fucking Renegade, yeah. Get me mad because the arcade archives they keep skipping Xbox and this just should have been there. They just put out Roston 3, Mystic Warriors. I mean, I did a video on my channel. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
Why they keep passing up Xbox, man?
I don't know, bro. I'll tell you again, they're like Korean, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
They act like we don't like those games. You know, the American people are the ones that made those games famous. I'm just saying.
Or big, yeah.
We made fighting games where they're at today. We played them like that, man.
It's like what we talked about earlier, Sega, man. They don't look at that stuff. They don't,
Nope.
It doesn't even phase them.
We're the ones that
go ahead. Sorry.
We're the ones that made Double Dragon big. When Double Dragon was in the arcades, we made Double Dragon big. You know what I mean? We made those fighting games big. We made Street Fighter big. That was a craze over here. There was people, I remember going to the arcade, Sega Forever and Hebot. There was 10 people in line to play somebody a Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Games like that. That was big here. We spent a lot of money on that. We made them games big. We made Capcom what it is today. You know what I mean? Or what it was.
The American gamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Going back to Sega Master System and the and the NES, they were out in Japan first with the Super Famicom.
Yep.
And with the Mach 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
So the Sega Master System was the Mach 3. It was the third version and third iteration of the console or the hardware.
Yeah.
And it came out before the NES. A lot of people don't realize that. It came out after here in the States because Sega was trying to look for an American distributor and they couldn't find one because they wanted it to make it feel more. They wanted an American distributor to market it to make it feel more like an American product so that it could do well, so it could compete with Nintendo because Nintendo had such a head start once they got the market of with the NES. When they got the market with the NES, Sega was already they knew they were behind the curve, so they're like, "Yo, we need to figure out a way to appeal to the American market to compete."
Yeah.
So they were trying to look for an American distributor so they can market it as an American product, right? Or have the same approach as they would with an American product. And nobody picked them up. It wasn't until Tonka, which Tonka Toys, they specialize in toys. They're the ones who picked them up. And that's why the marketing for the console wasn't as strong, because Tonka Toys had no clue how to advertise video games, right? And that's why the boxes look so simplistic. If you guys remember, hello.
Yeah, we're here.
If you guys remember, the cover arts for all the Master System games, they used to look real simple, and it wasn't until later on where they started putting a lot of nice artwork, like the one they did for Double Dragon and Fantasy Star, and fucking
Forget to take out your trash cans.
and fucking what was the other one? And games like Double Dragon, Roston, right? So that didn't help, because a lot of people, when they would go to the store, they wouldn't even realize that was actually a video game console. You know what I mean?
Hey, what's up, Tool Man?
Hey, Tool Man. Like, they wouldn't realize that the Sega Master System was actually a game console. We all know that the Sega Master System, right off the jump, it had 3D gaming. It had fucking the skee ball peripheral for hockey. They had the phaser, the light phaser gun, which worked much better than the one that Nintendo had for Duck Hunt. They had the 8-way directional pad on their controllers, and then you were able to put a little stick to make it into like a little arcade stick with that little thing in the middle where you screw it on. You were able to do that. They also had the indie scene with the smaller developers making smaller games in the Hue cards. They looked like little skinny cards, but they were video games. Those are called the Hue cards. That's where they did the indie games, the more cheaper games like Spy vs. Spy, Haunted Mansion. There's a lot of stuff. But as far as what they're doing now with Virtual Fighter, I think they're trying to go in their roots in the right direction, like to kind of redefine and elevate the fighters in this generation. And I think that's probably why they waited a long time. They were trying to wait. They were waiting until they got a substantial leap over with what they did with Virtua Fighter 5 with technology to make their new Virtua Fighter 6 so that they can, again, advance and evolve the fighting genres. And when you look at the game, it looks very lifelike. Like the animations in that video, the way it moves. Yeah, you can tell it's Virtua Fighter, but now it has a very lifelike look to it.
Yeah.
The way they move. It's not just the graphics, but it looks like if a real person was on screen moving.
Yep.
With the anatomy. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
It looks really, really lifelike, and I like that. So I'm glad they're taking that whole approach to the new Virtual Fighter very seriously. Like, you could tell for every smart move they do, every dumb move they make smart moves as well. But that's why I said that now at this point in time in my life as a gamer, I have a love-hate relationship with Sega, because I still love them for a lot of their stuff that they do, but I don't like the approach that they take with how they bring the stuff out and to how they offer it to their consumers. That's my biggest gripe,
Yeah.
and I think it's helping that they had success, right?
Man. Yep.
With they've been having success with the movies, right? Because with Sonic, for example, they had a lot of success, and now that opened the door. Now that's opened the door, and they already confirmed that they're doing an Eternal Champion movie. They're doing a Streets of Rage movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are they doing an Eternal Champion movie?
Yeah.
Why don't they make a new game too? That'd be awesome.
Maybe that's the intention behind it.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're gonna do.
I hope so.
That's what I'm thinking.
I own both of those. I own the one on the Genesis and the one on the Sega CD. That's the rare one.
Yeah, the Sega CD one had nice music.
Yeah, it did. And the characters were really awesome, brother.
Mm-hmm.
I used to use the Voodoo Woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember that.
She would say, "Zombie."
Well, I remember that finishing killing move that they would do.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
shark would come out and eat the other opponent.
Yeah. Yeah. They were different moves, and you know what? It was very inventive. Remember with the first one? Remember when you were on the caveman board, a dinosaur would come out and chew you up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, that's what I said. In the level where they had water, the shark would eat you.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
then
would summon the shark, and that would be like the finishing move, like Mortal Kombat, and it
Yeah.
would eat you, the shark. Mm-hmm.
that was Riptide's board. Her name was
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very inventive. They did a great job on. I miss those days because they just did a really good job at those fighting games. Man, they did a fantastic job, and it was something different.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like the Eternal Champions, but I liked them, man. They were different. They were very inventive.
Mm-hmm.
One dude that looked like Blade. I think he's supposed to look like Blade, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, because one of the characters he looked like he was supposed to look either Dick Tracy or it was another character. That's what they were aiming for.
The one with the trench coat on. And the hat.
Yeah, and the hat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say you're right. I'm gonna say Dick Tracy. Yeah.
That's the vibe you got, right? When you played it. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, Hollywood's definitely burning down. Guess what I just saw signed in on Xbox?
What's that?
I said Hollywood is definitely burning down. Guess what I just saw signed in on Xbox?
Who?
Nancy.
Who? Nancy. Titanfall Princess?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She's from New Jersey.
I got the alert on my Xbox.
She's from Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm. I believe so, yeah.
Back in the day when I used to talk, I actually used to talk to her on Facebook. I did.
Me too.
She used to try to convince me to go to PlayStation. I'm like, nah, I'm good, Nancy. I like Xbox. Oh no, you don't know what you're missing. I said, yes, I do. I know what I'm missing. I'm on my Xbox. I'm not buying a PS4. Back in those days, I'm like, nah. I'm good.
Well, I mean, I think she switched just because it fit the narrative for her channel at the time. Because remember, she was doing podcasts.
Yeah.
And people like Crap and Moot, they would rock out with her.
Yeah.
So she was just chasing the success of YouTube doing podcasts. So she jumped the ship, for the narrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is what it is, So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Virtual Fighter. I'm excited. I see a lot of potential. I think they're going definitely in the right direction.
Yeah.
And as far as their Virtual Fighter goes, as far as their arcade stuff, no, they still suck. But as far as Virtual Fighter goes, I think that they're going in the right direction. I think the leap is going to be so very substantial that it's going to elevate the 3D fighting scene again. Even though I know a lot of people are like, oh, Tekken, the new Tekken was awesome. It was amazing, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, the only thing that I personally think, in my opinion, and I know that a lot of people probably feel that way,
Why did he bought
that can challenge Virtual Fighter is DOA. If they did a DOA, a new one, but properly,
Yeah.
like properly done, not like the way they did the last two, that they were like kind of mid. I'm talking about properly done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The OA was the only game that I feel gave any type of competition to Virtual Fighter.
Yeah. DOA. Yeah.
And I'm talking about the DOA that was done with, Yu Suzuki, not Yu Suzuki, with
Itagaki.
Tomonobu Itagaki at the time. Yeah. He was the fucking master.
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm. That DOA 2 and Dreamcast was, oh my God. We saw that on screen for the first time. Like, what the fuck? We couldn't believe our eyes.
Yeah.
We're like, this is shit. It was better than the arcade. Like, holy shit.
That was good.
It was such a nice time, such a good feeling. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the new Virtual Fight.
Go ahead, SEGAMAN.
Well, brother, it's like Hebot said. I mean, Virtual Fighter. I actually, believe it or not, I have Virtual Fighter also on Sega Genesis. They made a version of it on Sega.
It did.
It's a 2D one. It's actually pretty good, and people actually were liking it. They made a 2D one of Virtual Fighter. So I have that one. I have the one Hebot said we sent away for it. It's called Virtual Fighter Remix, where they made it better. Then there's the original one I have that's really blocky, but I still liked it.
Well, they even made one for the Sega Master System, right?
Yes, I believe they did. I have the one for the Genesis, but I don't think I have the one for the I have it though on the Game Gear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Game Gear.
On the Game Gear, it plays more like a 2D though, right? It's a 2D fight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good, man. They did a pretty good job with it, but I'm very excited, man. Like I told you, my first character that I really liked and played a lot with on Virtual Fighter, guys, it was Jackie. Just like Sega Forever said, a lot of people like Jackie. I like the Jackie because he reminds me of he does the martial arts called Jeet Kune Do, like Bruce Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Jeet Kune Do, and I played with him a lot. But I like the boss, Dorel. I don't know what it is about Dorel. I like Dorel. I always like
Dorel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's like very mysterious type. Like she knew all their moves, and she looked like the T-1000 from Terminator.
Yeah, like the Liquid Terminator. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of like it, because how I am, guys. I like sci-fi and shit like that, and I like that. I like the way she looks. So.
Well, one thing with the new one, right? One thing with the new one, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. I'm just trying to say.
That's okay.
One thing that I noticed with the new one is they show Sarah, and Sarah looks exactly the same, just modernized.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Akira looking like with a trench coat and a hat, looking like a beefed up Dick Tracy. Like, I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Yeah.
But I hope it's just a costume that they gave you.
Yeah.
I hope you can play with the classic one as well.
Probably. I would say so. And I can't wait to see all the other characters. But I'm Virtual Fighter is my favorite. And like Hebot said, I have all the ones that are on the PlayStation 2. I have them all.
Yeah.
On the PlayStation 2. And when
here's a question I have for you, both of you guys. What new type of character? Because they're going to put new characters, right? Because it's a new game. They're going to add new characters to the roster. What type of characters would you like to see? Like from what type of martial arts or what type of style? Like if they like your own your own taste. Like what would you like to see?
Oh man, I don't know, brother. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would like to see more of a. I would like to see more. You know how every game usually has their kind of like their Bruce Lee lookalike.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know Jackie does his martial arts, but I would like to see a Bruce Lee lookalike character on there.
Like an actual homage to Bruce Lee?
Yeah, like the dude from
Fei Long.
Or Fei Long, but the dude also from Dead or Alive, Jet Li.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Because he actually he if you look at Jet Li, he does a stance just like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And so I would like to see a character like that, but their own version, their own type of version of
with their mixed with their flavor. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Just
What
like
about you, Sega Forever? What would you like to see as far as new character, maybe new martial arts art style? Like, what would you like to see?
Not really a new art style. I'd like them to take it back a little bit, like really focus on the older characters,
Yeah, you go.
flush out their moves a little bit more. Like if they're gonna do Jeffrey, of course, do more pancreas stuff. If they're gonna do Wolf, do more uh,
Yes.
wrestling stuff. If they're gonna include anything, probably a boxer would be needed because they've already got a kickboxer. They got like a gym.
Hmm.
I think kickboxer would probably be boxer would probably be.
that
I
would
don't
be
know how
cool.
they would incorporate it into the fighting style, but that'd probably be the next one to add.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be cool.
But for me personally, I just hope I hope they take it back a little bit and then fine tune it a little bit more. Because they were getting kind of arcadey to me with it, that makes sense. Because
Hold on, give me a second.
I think they lost a little bit of their. I mean, for me personally, they lost a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They did. They did it. They lost some of the authenticity of the
Yeah.
fighting style of the game. Yeah, yeah,
Like when you
yeah,
used to watch when I used to play the game, you could actually tell, like you're saying, SEGAMAN, you could tell that Jackie was a Jikundo, right?
yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, there's three things I would love to see. And I don't know if you guys will agree with me or not. Just let me know. One thing I would love to see because no one's ever did it. The same way that Sega Man said he would like to see like an homage of a Bruce Lee type character, but with their virtual fighter aesthetics. I would like them to do something like that also for like Van Damme, like because I think Van Damme is a really flexible martial artist, and you don't see a lot of that in that type of virtual fighter game or a character like that, right? That's like an homage to Van Damme, but with their own take. I also would like to see a capoeira type character, the way they did in Tekken, but for them to do it even better. Because that's the only character that I like from Tekken. And when it does capoeira,
Faster with music on.
it would be nice if they did that for Virtual Fighter, add like a capoeira type character, but with the Virtual Fighter aesthetics and fighting style, right? And like as far as mechanics, how it moves, animation, and also the Aikido, like Steven Seagal, a character that does Aikido. That would be fucking dope too, I think.
well,
Those are the
they have Oi,
who?
Oi,
Which one's boy?
Oi,
Which
AOI.
one? Is that from 4 or 5?
I think like, man, was it 3? I want to say 3, 3 or 4.
You think he plays similar like Aikido, like the way of how Van Damme everything's done the counterweight. I mean, with Steven Seagal rather, that he flips you, throws you, but it's all based off counterweight with his moves. I think it would be cool if they did a character like that, their own version.
Oh, man.
But because I never really played a lot with the other two characters that look more pretty boy, that were in part 4, I think, and they were in part 5. I don't know their names, but I never really played with them.
You mean like Leon?
No, Leon I love. Leon does the drunken, the snake style. You're talking about Leon, right? The little short one with the life raft vest. Leon looks dope because he does the snake.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's more Mantis style. His
Or
one, I think-
right, or Mantis, right. You know exactly what I mean. Yeah, you're probably 100% right. But Leon is dope. I like how he does that Mantis snake style combined. And the same way I like the old drunken monk, he does the drunken master style, which I think was fucking dope with the old man with the what's his name again? The old man? Oh my god.
Shundi.
And what is it? Shinji?
Shundi.
Chandi. You're right. Chandi. Forgive me, guys. It's the old age, the diabetes. I'll be forgetting the names.
Oh, Anthony
But-
said Oi is Aki. Oh, Aki. I thought Aki was the monkey. Anthony.
Oh boy, does Aki?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
the art style, the martial art.
I can't remember.
Right. Like, but again, like, I might sound cheesy, but that might be the '80s nostalgia in me. Like I said, I would love to see somebody that does Aikido. I would love to see them do a capoeira character because they never had one, and I would love to see them do a flexible type character like Van Damme that does a lot of splits a lot of high kicks, the way that Van Damme does, and do like an homage with their aesthetics, with his character. In my, those are the ones that I would like to see.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if you guys,
I
what
know
you
this
guys,
Anthony. Anthony says, Aki, that's the demon looking dude, yeah? With the
the
blue,
demon looking guy. Okay, okay,
blue judo. I thought he was judo.
right.
Aikido. I could be wrong. Anthony, I'll be honest with you. I haven't played Virtual Fighter in a long time. I
So
should
there's
fight.
one guy that's like a hard brawler, the one with one of the newer guys from Part Five that he hits, but he's more like a hard brawler. It's like a mixture of boxing with martial arts together. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. He's in Part Five. He has
Say
like
it
a trench
Say it
coat.
again. Wait. Say it again.
The one guy that's younger with the long hair,
Yeah.
he's like a hard brawler. Basically, he does a mixture of like boxing with
Yeah.
martial arts, and he has like a trench coat, but I forget his name. He's in Part Five. I would have to boot up the game, but I don't have it.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I think I know who you're talking
Is he
about.
German? Is he that German?
He looked. I think he is German, but he has like the long hair, blonde. He has a trench coat,
Yeah.
and he hits really hard with his fist. Like his moves are really heavy with his hands, and then he does a lot of like elbows, knees. You know what I'm talking about? Almost like if he was like Sagat, like he almost fights like he was a Muay Thai, but not exactly.
Yeah, the Muay Thai guy is Brad. Because I actually like him.
Right. Mm-hmm. But it almost looks like a combination of Muay Thai with boxing. I just forget the character's name. God damn, I forget his name. Bro, I'm the fake ass fucking Sega fucking virtual fighter.
So we never played it in a long time.
There's another dude in there who looks like a monk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Anthony says cheers. What's up, brother? I meant Oi fights Aikido. Yeah. No. I get you, Anthony. I confused everybody.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy, he does Aikido?
She does, yeah.
That's what he's saying. Oh, okay. I never played with her then. That's probably why.
I think you have to be like intermediate to even use her.
What happened to what's it called? You always hear about these fighting games are coming back, but whatever happened to Soul Calibur? They like fell off.
No, they had one. I have the last one they had.
Yeah, they had the last one. It was okay.
It was okay.
I have every last Soul Calibur, but it seems like they fell off. The last game didn't do that great, I don't think.
Yeah, it was just like, I played it and I didn't. It was like it didn't feel like Soul Calibur.
It felt dry. Yeah.
Something up with it, dude. I don't know.
You think it'll ever make a comeback? I mean, Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast was the best. That was fucking phenomenal. That's still phenomenal today.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, even before that, Soul Blade that you could only play on PlayStation 2, which E-Rock used to mention it all the time. That game was really solid.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they'll make a comeback. They'll make a comeback. They have to because 2025 is going to be big.
Yeah.
I think I see a resurgence.
It's like the resurgence of all fighters and shit.
That would be cool.
So
hey, Sickness said something pretty positive. Yes, there was a great game I have it on Xbox and GameCube called Bloody Roar.
Yeah, Bloody Roar was good too. Yeah. That was actually like the whole how you call that oh my god, the inspiration for Bloody Roar came from Ultra Beast.
Yeah.
The whole inspiration of Bloody Roar, but to make it into a fighter.
That was a good game. So
that first started on Turbo Graphics. Remember?
Bloody Roar 2 was really good too.
Yeah, it started on Turbo Graphics and then it went to PlayStation, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what was warring at the time was Bloody Roar and Fighting Vipers. I was switching
Fighting
to
Vipers.
games. Yeah.
Was that game?
Project Justice. Project Justice. That's the game I was trying to think of.
Oh, Project Justice is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Capcom one.
Yeah.
And the other one was Project Justice, and it was called something else before that because
the other one was called Rival Schools.
Yeah,
Rival Schools 1 and 2. Yeah. That was the third one. Project Justice was part 3 that came out on Dreamcast. That game was fucking dope. That game played really well too. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, Phil, man, Phil.
See, there it
Phil,
is.
buy them already.
You see it? Project
Yeah.
Justice.
You have it on you? Yeah, I have it too. I still have it. No, but you don't got the rival schools, no? You don't got those anymore?
Yeah, you have the Rival Schools disc on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then part 2 it was on PS2, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was on 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
the
a-
first,
I
the first one was only on PlayStation, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Mhm.
game is expensive, brother.
That's a Capcom. That's the Capcom 3D fighter.
That's expensive, bro. That's like
Bro,
Oh, yeah.
do you have Pocket Fighter, Sega Man?
What is it?
Do you have
Pocket
Pocket?
fighter.
Pocket Fighter?
Yeah, for PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Pocket Fighter. No, I think I
Yeah,
have.
so
I think I have a. I think I have a Pocket Fighter for I think I have a Pocket Fighter for my Neo Geo Pocket. I think it's called Pocket Fighter. Yeah, I have Samurai Showdown 2 also. Sickness. I have all those.
Yeah.
I also have a really good one called Last Blade 2.
Yes, that's the Samurai 2D one.
Yeah.
That was made by the people who did King of Fighters. That was their answer to like games like Last Bronx that were in 3D and games like the other one that they used to make. Oh, Soul Calibur.
Yes.
Because those were fighters with martial arts, but with weapons, right?
Yeah.
So they made. I used to love Poison Ivy and her weapon too, by the way.
Poison
From
Ivy?
fucking- Yeah, from fucking Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah,
Let me see. She had that blade. She had that blade that would open up into a whip. Oh, I used to love that guy.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought she was badass. Like, anyway, what I was trying to say, yeah, but then that, like I said, they had that Samurai Last Blade. That's the Samurai 2D fighter. That was like to compete against Neo Geo's Samurai Showdown. That was their response. Mm-hmm. And the Last Blade, you can still probably get it on. You can still get it on Xbox.
Yeah.
Via the Neo Geo collection, they got both of them. You can buy them there.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, they had also Marco the Wolf. Remember? Marco the Wolf. Because, they have that on Xbox. You can buy it in the store still. Neo Geo
I got Mark of the Wolf on the Dreamcast.
on the Dreamcast. Yes, I got that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those games are man. Those are good games. But if you look those games up now, they're expensive, brother. Especially Rival Schools. I seen that gone for. I mean, Project Justice. I see that gone for $200.
Yeah. Remember, Capcom also did Plasma Sword.
Yeah, I have that one too.
It's also for Dreamcast, and that was also one of their 3D fighters. Plasma Sword was fucking dope.
I liked it that it was different.
Yeah, it was the 3D fighter with weapons.
Yeah.
But in 3D, it was their version. My favorite character from Rival Schools is the kid that is a baseball player.
Yeah.
That's my favorite character.
He hits you with that baseball bat.
He'd be fucking you up.
I think that's Batsu, right? Batsu.
Is it Matsu? I don't even know his name. I'm bad with names with fighting games. I'm bad with their names.
I think it's Batsu. Wait, hold on.
Batsu. Okay. And another game I wish they brought back too, with Sega characters that Capcom did. Like they did a shooter, but with all the Capcom characters, that I wish Sega would do something like that. Similar to that is Cannon Spike.
Yeah.
Like Cannon Spike, I wish Sega did like that, something like that, with all the Sega characters. That would be phenomenal. What do you think, brother Sega Man? Yeah.
Yeah. Cannon Spike is good. Yeah.
Batsu.
What about you? Yeah. What about you, Sega Forever? You like that or no?
Oh no, I'm saying Batsu. That's it. Yeah, I like
Oh, Batsu. You were right. Batsu.
I used to play with him all the time.
He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he has some great characters.
And motherfucking Capcom, bring back Tosanoko versus Capcom. Bring it back. Bring it back for all consoles, stupid. Stuck on the Wii and nobody play it. Stuck on the fucking Wii.
Yeah.
That's why Phil should buy everybody. Phil should
Hell yeah.
just buy everybody.
People don't realize that Microsoft could buy Take-Two Interactive, Ubisoft, Nintendo, Sony, Apple Games, and they still will have mad money to spare.
So let me read this comment and then we'll wrap it up.
All right.
Andrew Wilkins says, "You ex goofs who always hype Sega make me wish I never bought a Sega system. You are all sad." Well, Andrew, let me say, number one, dude, you shouldn't let anybody disturb. Like, I would never look, dude. I'm a Sega fan through and through. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I'll always be a Sega fan, and I'll never regret any Sega system that I bought.
Absolutely. No
So I
regret.
don't know why you would even say that. Plus, I see a PlayStation controller in your hand, so that tells me all I need to know. But welcome to the podcast. Dude. And then he said, and he did say, cool collector's item when SEGAMAN flashed the rival schools, or no, yeah, was it rival schools? I think rival schools.
What did he say?
No, I guess because just to let you know, Andrew, this is a pro Xbox channel.
What did he say? I regret buying a what?
He said, "You ex goofs who always hype Sega make me wish I never bought a Sega system. You are all sad."
Who said that?
This dude, Andrew Wilkins.
I don't even see him on here.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is, bro. I mean, but you're on a pro Xbox
I'll never be sad because my best gaming experiences were always on Sega consoles
Yeah.
and now on Xbox consoles. I never had such a satisfying experience on any PlayStation console and on any Nintendo console, to be honest with you. Because Nintendo's games, they were always felt too kiddie for me, like their IPs. Like they weren't really badass, breaking the barrier, making adult style games. You know, and Sega, I had all types of experiences with them. You know, from Cortex all the way to Planet and the Space Harrier. You know, Wrestle War and fucking Riot City. And you know, Nintendo just gave you the same shit. Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong. They barely touched Kid Icarus, Metroid, and what else? Kirby. Those are the fucking 6 staples. And then PlayStation, they have shit. They just had third party. Because to be honest, the only thing I used to like that they made back then, and now we come to find out it wasn't even theirs, because they bought it now again and re-released it to the Switch, is Toomba. The Toomba fucking platformer they had, Klonoa, that was from Namco, which is on Xbox now. Ape Escape is one that I used to like. Jack and Daxter, they treated like the bastard stepchild. They don't even bring that back. That was Naughty Dog's best game and best franchise. Spyro and Crash, you know, but now belong to Microsoft. They own it. They were never owned by Sony ever. What else? Sly Cooper. That's what they did was on PS3. You know, isn't it a shame that Xbox guy know more about PlayStation games than fucking PlayStation guys? That's fucking crazy. They also used to have, you know, I used to like playing that fucking Jackie Chan game they used to have on PlayStation. It was a beat 'em up. I don't know if you guys remember that. And then they had another one with Bruce Willis. It was a sci-fi shooter. You know, what else? I'm trying to remember. Platformer-wise. That's it. They never really had anything other than that. Everything they had was all third party. So, again, all my best experiences, I'm pretty sure, is the same for Sega Forever and my boy SEGAMAN was on Sega consoles. The Dreamcast, timeless. Saturn, timeless. Master System, timeless. Still hold the test of time. Genesis, a super timeless because everybody loved the Genesis. So, you know, even my experiences with the CD and 32X were very, very positive. Even though they were short-lived, but they were positive. They were good experiences. When I played Star Wars Arcade, Afterburner, the arcade version for the first time, virtual racing, you know, Space Harrier, the arcade version for the first time on my Genesis, the 32X. You know, the Outrun arcade version. You know, Calabri with this little bird. That game was awesome on 32X. All my experiences, like I said, of gaming and gaming history, they've always been the best on Sega consoles and now Xbox consoles. Everywhere else I played has been meh. It's mid. I feel mid. My feelings are always mid. You know, for every one game I like, there's 5 that I find to be overrated or just boring. But again, that's just me.
Ah, no worries, man. Cygnus, I don't think you'll ever get that. I actually followed Doug Tenaple, who's the creator of Earthworm Jim, and he'll get he's canceled, so you'll never get that.
Yeah, well,
Cygnus says modernized Earthworm Jim would be interesting.
oh yeah. But because it was so racy, I don't know if they'll ever do it. It's like Conquer.
So the creator is Doug Tenaple, and I follow him.
Mm,
For a long time, so he got politically charged, so you'll never see that again.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I don't know why Microsoft don't, tell Rare or let them make another Conquer and make it like really outlandish with, new technology. I think it would be fucking great. Conquer to me is their best platformer. That and Jet Set Radio. Jet Force Gemini. Those are the 2 I like from Rare that a lot of people don't talk about, but those are the most my favorite. As far as their platformers go.
Yeah, well, they're too busy making Sea of Thieves. They're too busy making Sea of Thieves for PlayStation. So.
Oh yeah.
And then Conquer again, man. Conquer is just it's of its time, and so I don't think they could ever do it because if they did it if they modernized it for today's audience, dude, it wouldn't be the same. And they'd have to modernize it for today's audience because it would get canceled, right? So
This
go
this
ahead.
game also did very well on the Dreamcast, and that's Dead or Alive 2.
Yeah.
What?
I'm
Dead or
showing
Alive
it on the screen. Dead or Alive 2 did very well.
Oh
and
yeah, Dead or Alive 2 was a fucking masterpiece.
This version was better than the PlayStation version on PlayStation.
Yeah, the PlayStation version was a port 5 years later.
Yep.
After Dreamcast died, I remember.
Yep. On PlayStation 2, and I had it. He bought, and it didn't play as good as.
There's comparisons out there. There's comparisons.
Yeah.
You can go look at it. The Dreamcast version is far better and more superior than the one they did for PS2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you saw that guy that came out recently and said that the Dreamcast was a better hardware than the PS2. I've always said that. He came out and confirmed.
Yeah.
But then that they were fear mongering and paying people off, and Sony, what they were telling people is, okay, if you keep making games for Dreamcast, right?
Yeah.
Then we're not going to give you the dev kits to make any games for PlayStation. And since they knew that's where the money was, people stopped and started abandoning the Dreamcast. But Peter Moore said that. He said they were fear-mongering developers. And now it was confirmed because recently the guy had an interview and he said it. He spilled the beans.
Yeah.
And he said it. That's what Sony was doing. This guy did a video, that Indian dude that does Xbox content now. I think he's called Island Gaming. He's an Indian guy that does videos for Xbox. Like he's for Xbox. And he does videos now. And I think his name is Island Gaming. He did a video on it with the interview that just came out. And the guy confirmed this, saying that the Dreamcast was actually better hardware than the PS2. And I said, I knew that. Just look at Ferrari. When you look at the comparison of Ferrari, your F113, the Dreamcast version still looks better. The Dreamcast version was in 60, while the PS2 version was 30, and it looked far superior as far as the graphics, the softness of the graphics. So that don't surprise me. I've been saying that since day one. Even back then, I was saying, how the PS is going to be better hardware if the Dreamcast is basically an arcade motherboard. The only difference, it had less memory than the arcade version. And that they could have fixed that easy. Make an expansion memory card and put it in the back of the console, and you were good. You were Gucci. That was an easy fix.
All right.
I mean,
Hello?
I knew from the fact that when they did their third parties, right? Like Treasure, man. Treasure was one of my favorite developers.
Oh yeah.
You know, so they were Sony was doing this stuff way back in the day. They were strong arming all these dudes because a lot of these guys had good relationships with Sega, and a lot of that stuff turned sour. Right? Some of it was personal. Some of those guys, it was on personal level, like it happens, right? But you know, Sony was in the background pulling them strings, man. Screw Sony, dude. I hope they die this year.
Right. You know, it's a shame that Treasure became a one-dimensional developer too. That shit sucks.
Oh, that's their own fault.
Yeah, because they made the deal making all Lego games, and that's where they got stuck. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sometimes these people ego get involved, and that's what happened with them.
Well, they chose to do Lego games. They got stuck there. You know, you remember they made the McDonald game for Genesis, which was amazing. They made Dynamite Heading, you know, Gunstar Heroes, Gunstar Superheroes, Guardian Heroes. Their track record was oof. They were like platinum. Every game they made was a banger, was a hit. I was so fucking mad when they started doing just Lego games. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, dude, like I appreciate the Lego games, but I wanted them to expand themselves and keep making new original IPs, which that's what they would do every time.
Like one of my favorite shooters they ever did, it was Ikaruga, right?
Yeah.
Ikaruga was awesome.
Yeah.
Bangayo was another one that they made.
Ikaruga is, if you get it on the, you can get it on the GameCube. It's very expensive.
But I mean, they had an amazing pedigree, like Hiba was saying. And yeah, I do agree. They're kind of Platinum does remind me a lot of the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
And then my all-time favorite, Radiant Silvergun.
Yeah, that you can actually at one time it was free on Xbox.
Yeah.
I paid for it, but if you didn't take advantage of that, you're crazy. That game is worth a lot of money, dude. That physical game on Saturn, it's like $200.
Which one?
Radiant Silvergun.
Oh, Radiant Silvergun.
Yeah.
Go on the shoot 'em up.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And they got the Dreamcast version on Xbox. You could play it on Xbox.
Yeah, but that's why I like Treasure, man. I like their shooters. Because
Yeah.
they're unique, man, and they're challenging, you know?
The niggas, I told you, those niggas right there, they were talented.
Yeah.
They were super talented.
Yeah.
And everything they made was unique. It felt fresh. Like, bro, these guys are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The way that one of the reasons why I'm doing what I do in gaming now, like following Humble Games, looking at,
What is that? Fireworks.
yeah, these dudes, man, these are these pricks, dude. I hope they get arrested. So Nacon, like I'm looking into the people that are doing stuff more. Like that's what I used to do back in the day. And Treasure was one of my most favorite developers. Right. And so that's what I'm talking about, right? They had a great relationship with Sega that went south. So that's why I did. That's why I can't stand PlayStation dudes, man. You guys can't tell me jack. I seen your company of your. I seen your treasured PlayStation and Sony do the dirties, man, for the junk.
Huh.
And that's why I hope you guys go bankrupt. I swear. I really wish. I hope this is your guys' year. I hope everything you guys do fails. I hope everybody gets sick of Spider-Man.
Never been sick of Spider-Man.
They're so fucking annoying. Like the stupid shit they say, like the dumb comments, like you know what I mean? Like, and they always have something to say about stuff that they don't know nothing about, and that they never ever actually invested in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you got people on here that don't even own an Xbox and don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of their behavior comes since the Sega days.
Yeah.
They've always been this way. That's why I always rant with Phil, man. I'm like, dude, you want to make gaming for everybody? You need to get rid of these ponies. That's what you need to do. You'd be doing the gaming industry a favor. Not the PlayStation dudes, just the ponies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get rid of those guys, and then gaming will start to move forward. The gaming community will start to heal. because those guys are the worst.
They're the fakest thing out here. The only thing they do is regurgitate what other
They're the fakest thing.
podcasts
And
say.
you know what I hate the most about ponies, man? They make me use a word I can't stand, and that's toxic, because it aptly applies to their community.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, anyway, sorry, I don't want to go down this road because I wanted to be positive today with the Sega stuff.
I think
And then
yeah.
I gotta wrap it up too.
I think it was a good show, man.
It was, but I mean, I got kind of distracted by it.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm probably guilty of that too,
What?
of distracting you from the topics.
No, not that. I'm talking about like I won my little rant because it's irritating me that because when it comes to Sega, dude, that's how I am. It's like you said, man. It's bittersweet, dude. We have awesome memories, but then we still have never got like for me. I'll speak for myself. I never got past what happened with the Dreamcast. You know, and I never will. I never will until Sony dies. Then maybe I might have some peace. But until that day. Because I don't care what anybody tells me. I've had like you have all these people releasing stuff talking about what was, what wasn't, what happened, what didn't. And I'm like, no, bro, you can't say anything, bro. You can't say anything to me because we've seen it happen in real time.
Right.
All this stuff that you're doing, man, just regurgitating what people are posting online. Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys, dude, you guys never played the system or owned it. You don't know the majority of the games. Dude, I own most of these games, and then when SEGAMAN talks, I'm like, I forget. Then I go look at the picture. He shows the box. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I did have that game. Right? That's how old I am. Right? I'm getting to that point in my life. So before I give up, I hang up my gaming controllers. I want to see Sony die. I really do. That would be my one request, my one dream.
Might get
I
that.
mean, we tried to keep it positive, and I think for the most part it was. And again, it's not you, but it's me, bro. I have this. It'll never. Again, it's in me, man. I get a certain way when it comes to Sega, and that'll never change with me. So it is what it is. But yeah, shout yourself out, guys, and then we'll call it a podcast.
All right. Well, we'll let he. I'll go first.
Okay.
Brother Sega Forever. It was great to actually do this
Yeah.
collaboration with me, you, and the most powerful gamer. 3 men in here, OGs, that love Sega of the old yesteryears, man. It's fantastic, man. Unlimited always comments on and likes the stuff I have, and he always says stuff about it. You know, oh Sega man, brother, you know, the Sega stuff you have, you know, takes me back when I was younger, my dad and everything. But yeah, man, it's cool. But you know, it was a long road with all this stuff. This stuff didn't come easy. You know, some of it did.
Oh no.
Some of it did, and some of it didn't. I just got lucky. I got lucky back in those days. A lot of stuff I got was dirt cheap, but I got lucky though. You know what I mean? I was collecting that stuff when Sega was really down and out and it was going bad. Some of that stuff, you know what I mean? It was just dirt cheap, you know? And now that some of that stuff's worth a lot of money, you know? And it's, you know, I'm going to give it to my kids whenever something happens to me or something, it goes to my son, you know? So my daughter's not really, you know, and I think my son would be more into it, but it was a great show tonight, guys, you know, and yeah, I know we had a little bit of disturbances from some of these guys, and this is the thing, you know, when you try to do a podcast with your brothers and you want to talk about something else, they try to put, you know, the Microsoft and Sony bullshit in there and try to squeeze that in there, you know what I mean? But in closing, man, a lot of these guys that come in here, Brother Sega Forever and Brother Hebot, a lot of these guys, they're just jealous, and they're jealous of Ultimate Game Pass and the fun we're having and all the great games we're getting, and that we're playing them for free, and they're paying $70. Because when you get Indiana Jones, you will be paying that $70, or you will not be playing it. You will not be playing. So be happy. Be happy that you're getting Indiana Jones, but also make sure your pockets are happy, and make sure you have that $70, because that's what you're going to be paying for it to play it on your preferred console. You're bringing more money back to us. We're having a good old time over here because we're getting a lot of games and Game Pass and everything, you know, and you guys are just jealous, man. You guys are jealous of Xbox and what Xbox is doing for their customers. Hate to see people happy. Hate to see people talking great about games on Xbox. You guys hate that. You hate it. If it was Salt, you would love coming over here. If me and Hebot and Sega Fair were like, yeah, fuck Microsoft, man. They're doing bad. Yeah, fuck these games, man. I don't want to pay for services and shit. If we were saying all that shit, you guys would be loving it. You would be loving it. You'd be with us every fucking time we did a video. You would love us to talk bad about Microsoft. But there's nothing bad to talk about Microsoft about. Yes, I'm not saying they're perfect. Okay, but they're doing way better than the competition right now when it comes with the best value for your buck. They just are. You know what I mean? And you guys got to find every little milk and cranny to make up to try to take that thunder away. But it just is not going to happen. You got brothers like Brother Hebot. Nobody will battle Brother Hebot. Nobody will battle Brother Hebot. They make up excuses. Brother Hebot say, "Hey, come on, I'll talk to you. We can, talk about this, what you think and all that." They never come up to bat because they know Hebot will embarrass them. That's why they never do it. You know what I mean? They never will do it because they know Hebot will definitely embarrass you because he knows what he's talking about when it comes to Xbox or anything to gaming. That's why they never battling Brother Sega Forever. They'll never battle him. They'll make up excuses all the time. Like the one dude, what's his name? I forgot what's the dude name you were supposed to battle? I forgot the dude's name. The one that said that the Forza is racist. Something in the Forza was racist or some shit like that. I forgot that guy's name, man. He's a hypocrite out here, but he was supposed to battle Hebot and he never stepped up. You know what I mean? He never stepped up to the plate. I forgot his name, man. Oh, King Trash. He never.
Oh.
King Trash was supposed to battle Brother Hebot, and he never stepped up because he's a punk. Because he know Hebot will beat him.
No, he wanted me to go to his channel, right?
Yeah.
So I can debate him, and then he brings in all these other, his friends that are ponies, so that when I'm doing what I'm doing, they could try to all jump on me at once, and the conversation, and I won't be able to talk. I have to yell, talk over them, and get upset, and then none of the points will get across. And then he'll talk about, I dog, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
He did it. He did it to E-Rock. E-Rock fell for it, went to argue. He was winning his points, and then all his boys jumped on him and tried to fucking make a mockery and make fun of him. I was like, bro, that's a real. I said, you want to debate me? No problem. We're gonna have a moderator, and I'll debate you, me and you, with a moderator. That's it. But on my terms. I'm not battling you on a conversation on your terms because you don't know how to keep it civil, respectful, and professional. You don't know how to do none of that shit. Right. I'm not wasting my time going to a pony's channel so they could act like fucking idiots. I'm not doing that.
Yep.
And try to mock me or jump on me to make fun of me and then put little snippets and skits all over the internet, making it look like I look stupid or sounded stupid because they edit this shit. I'm not giving you the benefit to do that at all. You want to talk and battle me or challenge me on my terms.
Yep.
That's it. I'll never waste my time again. Like I did when I went to on Big Game Small Talk podcast with Next Gen.
Yeah.
And all I did, it was turn into a stupid, uncontrollable debate with people talking back and forth over each other, and the point didn't really get across, and I had to get stupid with some young ass idiot. With Alex Escobar being dumb and getting fresh. I had to act like a clown to get my point across.
Yeah, I remember that because I watched that, man.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
But Brother Sega Forever, man, great show talking about what Sega's bringing out. I can't wait to see and buy the new Virtual Fighter. I really want House of the Dead 2 physical. I really hope it really comes out physical. I really want that bad. I want it physical. I'm not buying it digitally. I want it physical. If they don't make it physical for the Series X, then that's when I'll buy it digital. But I really would love to have that physical because it's near and dear to my heart. It's part of my growing up, man. The House of the Deads. So hopefully they'll do that. That they're gonna make a physical copy for Series X.
I think they do what they did last time, that though.
Yeah.
Bring it out digital to see if it does well.
Yeah.
When they make some sales, then they'll announce a physical because that's what they did with part one. I bought it twice.
Yeah. No, I might have to do that too. Remember, you bought it, you got it for me, and I had it digitally, and you got me the physical. So I
Yeah,
might
yeah,
have
yeah.
to do that again.
That's what I did. But
Yeah, but I'm happy. I'm really happy, guys. I'm happy that new Virtual Fire's coming out. I can't wait to see the new games like the new Streets of Rage they're working on, the new Golden Axe, all those different games that we've seen at the one I think it was E3 or the Microsoft show. So I really cannot wait to see those IP, man, because I'm gonna buy every last one. The new Streets of Rage, the new Golden Axe, and all that stuff that they're working on. We got to see a glimpse of it. When that stuff comes out, man, I'm buying every last single one. I'm very excited to see these IP coming out from Sega, man. So yeah, it was a great show, brother. Sega Forever, man. Took me back, showing you guys stuff with brother he bought. Very awesome, man. And I think they're doing well. They can do a little better, but I think they're doing okay, man. I think they're doing all right. So can't wait to see that IP though, man. That's it. That's all I gotta say, brothers. It was a great show, brother. Sega Forever. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here, brother. Eva, go ahead, man.
yeah. And as always, it's always a pleasure to be here. Because this is again like my second home, and when I do things with with brother Sega Forever and Sega Man, it's always like a second home, the third home. Especially that it's hard for me to do podcasts the way I used to, and more frequently because I'm always busy and in and out. So I can jump in with any of these great guys and anyone else, like Unlimited, for example, or anyone else that invites me, like 100, and just jump in wherever I'm at. And they don't make me feel uncomfortable, or they don't make me feel like I'm interrupting because I get problems with the connection, or because I'm in the car and I come in and out, and things like that. So that's why I enjoy doing them. Um, Hopefully, I'll be able to do more things like podcasts this year. Hopefully, once I get everything situated with my living situation, 'cause I'm trying to look for somewhere to move into, basically.
Yeah.
That's why we're spending a lot of that time trying to figure out what we need to do, where to go, what help is available to us. So that's why I'm not always posting as much and doing as much frequently or faster. Because I just have my mind occupied in a lot of things, plus my health and other things that I'm trying to, and my wife's health that I'm concentrating that are much more important, obviously.
Yeah.
But this is how I escape. This is how we all get some form of escape because it's our hobby. It's what we like to do. It's what gives us happiness, makes us have some fun. Is to video games or pop culture or movies, figure collecting, anything like that. So that's why we still like doing it at the age that we are now of 50 and over, because it keeps some type of happiness and for sense of enjoyment in our lives with all the negativity and stress that we have levels based off our real world lives, right? So it's nice to talk about what's going on with Sega. It's nice to see that they're doing um, some new things that look like they're trying to go in the right direction. Like they announced another, Sonic Racers, which would be cool to see what they do. Because Sonic Transforms for me, I think is one of the best kart racers that they've done ever, even better than the Mario Kart ones. And then Mario Kart went and did it also. Um, I just hope that they get their act together as far as their retro arcade stuff, and they figure out something for the future that we can get access to that stuff as old school fans of them, and that they, you know, give us updates on what they're doing with the new Streets of Rage, with the new Golden Axe 3D game, with the new Shinobi, and the new Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys can find me on my channel. It's HeBot8, or HeBot by itself. No, it's HeBot. HeBot8 is on Xbox. You can find me under that too. Um, and under uh, what you call it? And on Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. You know, I just put up a review not too long ago of Wolf from Virtual Fighter 5 esports on some Storm Collectibles. If you guys will want to watch that,
I'll check it out.
you can check it out because it's related to video games, even though it's a figure.
Mm-hmm.
What else? That's it. Like, you know, it's just the same old, same old. You guys want to hear real gaming talk? You know where to come.
Yep.
You know where to support. You know, whether it's retro, new, old school, whatever. It was fun. It was fun doing the show. Sorry I came in late, but I was trying to get myself together, so I apologize for that, brothers. So thanks again, brother Sega. Forever. I appreciate it. Always, brother.
Nah, man, no worries, man. Thanks for being here, guys. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it was a good show.
You know, especially as like Bebot said about our age. It's a lot easier when there's three of us, so at least one of us can remember something.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, shout out to the chat. Anthony Chipmunk, cheers to you, brother. Thanks for being here. Cygnus, man, hey, like I said, you're always welcome here. Thanks
yeah,
for stopping.
shout out to the chat. Yeah.
And shout out to Andrew Wilkins. I mean, hey, at least you came by. Right? Judah Gaming, dude, we'll see what happens, brother. But thanks for being here. Vontae, man, always appreciate you being here. Go Solo Leveling, man. It's the bomb. Go watch it. Pippi Pew, appreciate you being here, brother. And don't worry, man. You're always welcome here, Pepe, and you're always 100%. And like I said, I welcome anybody. But yeah, you're more than welcome to express your opinion, dude. I know when I ranted earlier, dude, that's in the generalization. So I hope none of you guys take that stuff personally. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I mean, if you know you're a gamer, you're a gamer. Big Ed, appreciate you being here, bro. It's nice to have you here, man. It's always great to have another Sega fan here. 100, man. No worries, man. I'll invite you on the next podcast. This was kind of something for me, SEGAMAN, and Heba. And we want to do that deep dive.
Brother 100 in the building.
I'm
Honey.
busy right now, dude. I know you catch it on the replay, but I wish this was the podcast that Microsoft bought Sega, but not yet. And then Daniel Berry, bro. Sorry, I know I keep on talking about the podcast, but I'll fire it up.
I hope everything's okay with 100 over there in LA with all the fires going on. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
It's pretty bad over there. I seen what's her name on YouTube. The actress Candace Cameron Bure. She was no makeup on. You know, she was crying because she wanted to, I guess, help the people around her. The house she sold, she said to these couple in LA that she knew, it burnt down, and she wants to like go and help, but she can't do anything. She lives in LA, but she's not where the fire is. But she was crying.
no, yeah, but those wood fires, the only thing that would help them is like that video that our brother put up is rain. But God is making a statement because he can't use his name in vain and play blasphemy with.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
True.
It's been a long time coming. You know how Hollywood keeps making a mockery of God, and there's only going to be so long where you couldn't get away with it.
Yeah.
Happened over there in Brazil when they did that fucking parade worshiping Satan, and then they had that fucking tsunami, that fucking or you know, and storm that destroyed the whole fucking area,
Oh, the flash flood.
and all those people died. Yeah.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It is what it is. You gotta respect the Lord. Can't play around. Can't play around. Even if you're not a religious person, you just don't play around with his name because that's not how that works.
That's right.
You know, and you know, it's in the Bible. It's all been written. It's all been prophesied. And said Hollywood would burn for using my name in vain and for making a mockery of me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, last but not least, FaZe. Thank you, brother, for coming in.
Oh, brother Faze. He should have given me. He's
Yeah.
a big Sega. He's a big Sega fan too.
Oh, is he?
He's been doing stuff on YouTube.
He's finally doing his YouTube retro stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. He's doing gameplay and stuff. Yeah.
Shoot him a link next time, Hiba.
Yeah, I would have definitely. I didn't even know he was in there until you guys said that.
FaZe, yeah. FaZe, yeah. He's been out there. Yeah.
All right, guys. So, well, go ahead, SEGAMAN. Sorry.
No, I said FaZe is really cool, man. Yeah. He's a cool dude.
All right, guys. So we'll wrap it up, man. Thanks everybody for being in the stream, and thank you everybody that joined us. Xbox All In channel, we out.
Peace, guys.
Peace.